chilly. Well, I left the house this morning. It was like 54 degrees.
It felt cold.
It did. There's no doubt about that. 54. It's 58 now, but sunny and 58 now. Partly to mostly sunny. A little warmer today with a high of 83. Tonight, partly cloudy. Isolated thunderstorm possible. A low of 63. Then Wednesday, very warm and muggy with partly sunny skies, scattered thunderstorms, and isolated severe storm is possible. No major outbreak is expected, though, so that's good. 88 for the high. So we're going to have maybe a little rain tonight, a little rain tomorrow, something like that. But we need rain, do we not?
That's what I hear.
Why is it always very dry? No matter how much it rains, it's very dry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just where we're at. Like, it's where in that drought season-esque.
So you're saying we should wipe out about half the people on Earth?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
That's what I thought
conveying
you were
at
saying, yeah.
7:01 a.m. is that massive genocide for sure.
First thing out of your mouth, massive genocide. So, yeah, sunny and 58 right now. It's going to be sunny and 83 later on. A really, really nice day coming up. So that's very cool. Hottest Jeopardy champ ever. Brittany sent this. I have not seen this yet. Brittany sent this to me this morning. So I look at a picture of her. She's an attractive woman, hottest ever. I don't know about that.
She's very beautiful. I was watching her video this morning, and she's gorgeous.
I can't click on it for some reason. But I don't think I can. Yeah, the little arrow won't come up. Why won't it come up over my stories?
I don't know.
I hate this when this happens. Yeah, I can't bring it up. It won't let me click on. I can see the picture. Maybe down here. No, I don't know. Just won't do it. Whatever. So you tell me the story.
Okay. So she was on Jeopardy just a couple days ago. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's Anhi Nyquist, I believe. She ended up getting a lot of popularity because she's very attractive.
I mean, I'm looking at her picture. She's a nice-looking woman, but I don't know about very attractive.
July 5th she was on, and she didn't ask me anything on Instagram, and she explained to The Sun that there was a lot of people of, would you do OnlyFans? And she said it would be very popular. It's not her style, but it was flattering, and she just toyed with the idea for a second, and at the end of the day, she will not be doing OnlyFans.
She's not doing so OnlyFans is what is it's a website?
It's a paywall. So
it's a paywall.
You doesn't have to. It's associated with sex, but it doesn't have to necessarily be sex or like you can show whatever or not whatever. You can also just give on like at Patreon is probably like the known as the less scandalous paywall version.
So I have a question because like I said, I'm from a different generation, obviously all the rest of it, but I always had the feeling like, look, if I can get a date and marry a beautiful woman, why can't anyone? Why are there so many problems with that?
I don't think it's that. I don't think this situation is interchangeable with dating. I think paying somebody to see their boobs.
It's all about paying people.
Yeah, like I think there's like a more transactional piece to it. I think it's also convenience. Like maybe people don't want a significant other. It's just I think it fills a different void.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
It does.
Filling a different void. Is there any like Vaseline involved?
I don't know if Vaseline is the go-to, but
yeah, the void is not an emptied out pumpkin, okay?
Well, I don't know what you people are up to. How the hell would I know? I got no idea. I'm happily married for 39 years.
So are some of the OnlyFans members.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so it's a lot of that, huh?
I think it's all over the board. I think it's just, if that's your thing, that's your thing. If porn and paying for all that stuff is, and that's totally fine. No, I'm not going to ick your thing, but yeah.
Ick your thing.
I spend my money elsewhere, and I can't say mine is more helpful for me. So,
well, the guys do what you do as long as you're not, breaking the law or any of that kind of stuff. Go ahead and do what you want to do. See, in my situation, first of all, two things would happen if I ever cheated on Catherine. I would develop like an eye tick of some kind.
Yeah.
There would be a tell because she would know anyway.
Well, she would poison you, so there'd be that.
Yeah, well, that might make my eye tick.
You assume you'd have two eyes left.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a very good point.
So it's really an interesting conversation. Is that cheating? That's usually a big question. Is porn cheating? You figure it out with your relationship. Now, if it's a real person that you're paying to communicate, that kind of gets a little bit more like,
Oh, yeah.
but it's technically still porn because it's not like this. You have a chance with this person.
Yeah.
But there's something about like, if you did like a video chat with somebody where I would go, I feel like that's cheating-esque.
Yeah, it's not right. You know,
I know
like,
it's like cheating adjacent.
Yeah. I don't know though. I feel like as long as there's no physical contact.
That's a very, very. Because then can I text with some hotties?
Well, there can't be an emotional cheating. Because I've been through that too, where like a girl I was with was, kind of having like an emotional relationship with someone that she worked with, and then when it came to light, I was like, you might as well have just had sex with the guy.
Like, what is an emotional cheating? Because I have guy friends. I mean, I barely have friends, period, because of, where I'm at in my life right now. But, like, I have guy friends, but I don't. Like, what makes that emotional cheating?
I would say if you are telling secrets about your significant other to somebody who is the same sex as that significant other, and you're talking only about like all the bad things that they do. Oh, this person is he always leaves the dishes in the sink, or he's always belittling me, or blah blah blah, whatever it is. Instead of really hashing it out with your partner, having those conversations with somebody else, that's where I think emotional cheating comes in.
All right.
Good for those kids.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And to go back to like people having their own thing, there was a comic in town. I won't mention this person's name, but obviously it's a dude when you hear the story. This guy was super cynical of everyone. And I just like would say the worst things about everybody. And I would always say like, you got to have secrets too, right? Not me, man. Listen, I'm an open book.
Oh, that's the soon as somebody says that.
Yeah. So one night, my girlfriend and I went down to Lickety Split. Do you guys remember Lickety Split?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And they had some of those like curtain rooms in the back.
Yeah.
And guess who came walking out of those curtain rooms? And we caught eyes, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, wow, this is the greatest moment of my life.
Like Christmas came early.
And he was, no pun intended, but he was mortified after that. And after that, all of a sudden, his shit talking kind of plummeted. It was like, yeah, you know what? We all kind of have our thing.
And then he got the Tonight Show right after that.
Oh my God!
Well, who do you think was in the booth with him back there?
Well, that's
it's all about who you know in this business.
I suppose it is. Yeah. I suppose it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's good for those kids.
Right.
You guys do what you do as long as you stay the hell away from me. That'd be good.
Perfect.
Right? By the way, I did find that story. Yeah, it won't click on my top stories for some reason today. But you didn't know how to pronounce Angie Nyquist?
Oh, is that Angie? Is that her name?
Yes.
Oh.
What did you think it was? On high?
I think I said Angi. Yeah.
Angie Nyquist.
A-N-J-I.
That's Angie.
I've never seen Angie spelled like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been that long that people have been spelling it that way.
Yeah, that's wild.
I do not know, but I happen to know somebody that spells their name that way. So
I hate when people do that crap. Knock it off. Yeah, just put, if anything, if you want on your birth certificate to say A-N-J-I, go for it.
Okay.
But everywhere else, just spell it the right way.
Yep.
I have a good friend named Kyle. K-I-E-L. And
That's Keel.
I know, but here's the thing. Now I've known Kyle longer than I've known most K-Y-L-Es. And so now the other one's looking weird to me. Because it actually phonetically, this Angie does make sense that you said it.
What movie is it where the guy goes, Kyle?
Kyle?
All the time. What movie is that?
I don't know. Kyle? I have no idea. I'm sure I'll have to check our emails during the break, because I'm sure we'll get a bunch of emails.
Okay, so here's the deal. A woman named, this is a story that Brittany was trying to tell me about and I couldn't bring up, but now I brought it up on a different site. A woman named Angie Nyquist won the July 5th episode of Jeopardy, and ever since her victory, some fans have been calling her the hottest contestant ever. See, I wouldn't know that because I used to watch a lot of Jeopardy, but I haven't seen it in years now.
Yeah, it's always weird when I am in a situation where Jeopardy, I'm available to see Jeopardy, because it's like in the middle of the day, right?
Is it on at 6 o'clock at night too, I think, though?
I think 4.
4 o'clock. Oh, it's
Yeah,
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I just, that was Alex Trebek, right? He was Jeopardy? Or is he the other one?
Yeah, Alex Trebek, yep.
That was Alex Trebek. Very nice guy, by the way. Didn't know him really well. Talked to him a couple of times, but that audio of him when he's working in Vancouver as a young man, have you ever heard the audio of him when he pauses and he doesn't want to say the word?
No.
He's reading the news, and he's doing the news read like this. Ladies and gentlemen, the news this evening includes Some bad weather will be moving in, so keep an eye out for that. Also, and you can hear him rattle the paper, and he goes, there's been a bit of trouble in the Negro district.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody wrote Negro district on his copy.
Oh, my God.
Now, this is probably 40 years ago.
I was going to say it was probably even maybe acceptable in those circles, but that seems insane.
But
I would never say.
How about the honky district?
Right?
Did they got that too?
Oh.
Yeah, he did not want to say. There's audio of. You can still get the audio of him doing it. And he
Well,
goes,
can you blame him?
No.
I mean, I would die.
Jeez.
I would go, I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm going to go ahead and skip that.
I'm going to call Tevin and Rashawn and go, do you guys live in the Negro district? I didn't know if you did or not.
Just wait till tomorrow. Tevin will be in.
Yeah, Tevin will be in tomorrow. And God, such a nice man.
I love Tevin.
I think I did a great job raising him, don't you think?
You did a great job raising him.
Because he was a pain in the ass when I met him, but, I got him turned around.
You got him on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. No, he's a really, really good guy.
He makes me giggle. That kid.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he's not a kid. He's like 30-something. But
Yeah, he's like, God, is he like 36 now?
but he's one of
He's
those.
Andy's age, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's a little younger than me and Andy. I think he's
Oh,
like.
he is, okay.
I think he's like 34-ish. We'll have to ask him.
It's probably right. You're probably right. So in any case, she recently did an Ask Me Anything chat, and not surprisingly, some pervs showed up, and they asked her if she'd consider joining OnlyFans. It sounds like that won't be happening, though. Angie says, quote, I mean, that's not my style, but it was flattering. And then there's a question mark. It was flattering?
It was flattering?
That was a question?
And also, she's speaking, so that's an assumed question mark.
That's true. She adds, quote, you're going to get some nice people. You're going to get some creeps. I have been getting DMs, direct messages, right? That's what a DM is?
Correct.
From random men. It was not what I was expecting, that is for sure. Well, yeah, but you know what, Angie? I know it's not what you were expecting, but you should have expected it because they don't have her picture on this story. But she looks like an attractive woman. Why do you think that? Because, I mean, she's attractive, but there are a lot of attractive women on that show, aren't there?
I don't know.
Also, ratings have been dipping a little bit.
Oh, there's your answer.
I
You
belie-
just answered my question.
I believe that you are right, that
Yep.
there are a lot of attractive people on there. I just think that she did a good job with, she had these beautiful lashes on that,
okay.
she kind of just knew how to dress herself in a way that, like,
Kind of like me.
exactly.
Just really know how to dress.
You really know how to
beautifully.
work your angles.
Yeah, there's no question.
That windbreaker.
Right now it's 54. No, it's 58 now, actually.
Yeah.
No, in any case, Angie Nyquist, she seems like a classy woman and all the rest of it. But you know what? I got to lean toward Rudy on this one. This is about ratings and money.
I believe it.
Everything now, everything is about money and ratings. And I'm not saying she's involved in it.
No.
They're taking advantage of her, I think.
Correct.
Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen that show in a long time. I used to love watching that show, actually.
Yeah.
You could actually learn things by watching TV in those days because they'd come up with subjects that you didn't know much about, which is very cool.
Can I give you a spoiler alert?
Uh-oh, spoiler alert.
She is the only one that got the Final Jeopardy right. And so that's why she got moved to, well, not Final Jeopardy, whatever the last one is before Final Jeopardy, where she gets asked a question.
Isn't that what the show does?
Is that, I'm just saying that, like, she won because of that. It was kind of fun to watch.
But I mean, isn't that how they always win?
Like, because somebody lost points and the Final Jeopardy.
Oh, see, I don't know. I didn't know you can lose points, too. You gain points and lose them.
So at the end, you bid.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. So, like, if we're asking, like, they'll give a hint, like, capitals, and we'll go, okay, how much do I want to bid of my own money? Mm-hmm. And if you have 0, you can bid up to 1,000 and go negative.
Oh, okay.
So she ended up surpassing first place by like $200 because
okay.
she's the only one that got it right.
So she's smart. She's beautiful. That's a good thing. Good for her.
Wouldn't know. Must be nice. Have a great life.
Oh, here we go. Now,
Angie.
I'm being humble right now. Did you hear the tone of my voice? God.
I mean it like literally like
You
must be
fraud.
nice. And I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Hey, listen, every time I walk past the room, because she always goes, we tend to leave at the same time during the break. It's the only time we have to go down the hall. And you get to the women's room first, then you go around the corner to the men's room. And every day we walk by, and Brittany goes in the women's room, and then I come by about maybe 15 steps later, and every day I hear this, how you doing, beautiful?
Don't go changing.
Don't go changing, sister. Talking to herself in the mirror.
No, there's other people in there. I was just
No,
trying to
it's not you.
I was hyping them
It's
up
other
for work.
folks.
Yeah, they were saying it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it sounded like you, but it must have been somebody else.
No,
Okay.
we're very supportive in the women's room.
I understand that 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break. Be right back. Jeff Leeson, our special guest, his upcoming tour in Minnesota. We'll talk to Jeff about that. On MyPillow's 20-year anniversary, with over 80 million MyPillows sold, Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you. Dawn. I love Dawn.
Yeah, she's great.
We're going to have her on. We should have her on, don't you think?
I love that.
She's a tough woman. I love tough women.
I love her. She's just very sweet.
Indeed. So, yeah, the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillows, regular price $69.98. Now only $19.98, just $10 more for king-size, so that's great, too. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for only $19.98. All you have to do is enter promo code TOM. That'll be good. In addition, as a special offer on the MyPillows, you will also receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. Take advantage of the biggest sale in MyPillow history. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to take advantage of Mike's special offer on this pillow. That's MyPillow.com, promo code TOM.
Boating season is here, and many of you will be hauling a boat to the lake this summer. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we encourage you to keep yourself and others safe by obeying the laws of the lakes. Keep in mind that children 10 and under are required to wear a life jacket at all times. It's also good to make sure everything on the boat is in working order before heading out into the water. Alcohol causes thousands of boating injuries every year. Remember that the captain is responsible for the crew and cannot be over the legal limit. And please, not only be aware of other boats in the water, but keep an eye out for water skiers, tubers, and jet skiers. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. Please do your part to keep yourself and others safe on the lakes this summer.
You can find Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant and at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Mike Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Hi, this is Tom Bernard. My friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales at their Albertville location just off Interstate 94 would like to extend a special offer going on now through the end of July. It's for all our Tom Bernard Morning Show listeners. When you visit their Albertville location, mention that you heard me, Tommy B., tell you about this July-only savings opportunity on travel trailers and pickup campers. Now, you must be a qualified buyer, but here's the really good news. Receive up to $5,000 off the advertised price on all their new in-stock inventory. As always, terms and conditions do apply. Brands include Rockwood by Forest River, Arctic Fox by Northwood Manufacturing, Cirrus by New Camp, and more. Now is a real good time to buy and take your passion on the road with Niemeyer Trailer Sales. You can't just sit around. See my guys and gals at Niemeyer's in Albertville or peruse their current inventory at Niemeyers.com. That's Niemeyers.com, Niemeyers.com. The up to the $5,000 off sales event ends July 31st. It's time to beat the heat. This is Tom from my friends at Miller Marine and Power Lodge, giving you the keys to a cool lake breeze with clearance pricing on 2023 luxury pontoons, fishing boats, and more. Our dog days of summer won't last, and neither will their inventory. So do both of us a favor and go from floor to shore today with iconic Bennington pontoons and tri-toon packages at doorbuster pricing at Miller Marine in St. Cloud and all Power Lodge locations. Get your first cruise in by sunset. But don't wait on this limited time special. Power Lodge offers competitive financing with no money down. By the way, if you need delivery to your dock, their team of experts has you covered. Discover what thousands of our Minnesota neighbors have and explore our lakes and rivers in your own boat at Elite Savings. I said Elite Savings, darn it. Launch into adventure today at Miller Marine and Power Lodge. Just head to millermarine.com and powerlodge.com to see for yourself. Financing is available on approved credit. Freight and prep are not included in package.
What's your name, young man? Evan? Very nice. And how old are you, Evan? 16 years old. Look at you. Look at you, buddy. You got your whole life ahead of you. This is exciting, Evan. This is the time. Are you Evan's dad? Okay, yeah, you keep looking at him to see how he's reacting to this. Yeah, you do have your whole life.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it just quit.
Oh,
I'm blaming it on Jeff Leeson. That's all I'm
if you
saying.
want the rest, you got to go to his show.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, it should be.
Jeff is up, yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up August 17th, Boston's Comedy Club in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is a great spot. Anyway, August 18th, the Miners Dry in Ely, Minnesota. August 19th, the big one for us, of course, Parkway Theatre in Minneapolis. And then August 20th, the Skyline Comedy Club at Appleton, Wisconsin. So we'll be in South Dakota. He'll be in Minnesota, northern Minnesota, the Twin Cities, Wisconsin. He's all over the joint. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Magnificent. Could I just use one of your I guess, phrases from your descriptor for one of the people that works here? I just want to replace your name with hers. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. For over 23 years, Brittany Arneson has been astonishing crowds across North America with her off-the-cuff improvisational style that leaves crowds not only wanting more, but amazed at what they just witnessed.
Oh, Jeff, finally, I got a compliment from Tom
What do you think of that, Jeff?
I'm honored. I'm honored to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Well, I could understand. So where are you from originally, Jeff?
London, Ontario, Canada.
Nothing wrong with that, man. Hey, thanks for the smoke. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
You're very welcome. You know, I have one of my best friends lives in Toronto, a guy named Dougie Dawson, and I get a call from him about once a week. Don't blame this on me. And then he just hangs up. It's like, thanks, Doug.
Not my fault.
Thanks, Dougie. No, actually, I'm a huge Canada fan. Jeff, I will tell you, we were just talking, as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago last week, I guess about a week ago now, maybe, that if you're a Minnesotan and you fly into Calgary, you hop over there and go to Banff, hang around there for a while, then you go out to Lake Louise. I mean, Canada is gorgeous, man.
Yeah, beautiful country. Beautiful country, Canada. It's a very lovely to travel, lovely to drive across. Yeah, beautiful.
So how'd you get started, Jeff? When did you know? I used to ask this all the time, and I don't ask it as much as I used to, but when did you know this is what you wanted to do?
You know, I was really young. Like I became a fan of stand-up comedy when I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and it started for me with two TV shows that were on back-to-back every day called Comedy at Club 54 and Just for Laughs. And I would just come home after school and, for like an hour, just was absolutely enthralled by this art form and by these shows and the fact that these guys and ladies were, seemingly getting paid just to goof around and make people laugh. And in school, I would always, put a little comedic slant or put some comedy into, presentations and book reports and things like that. When I was in grade 8, I was voted valedictorian of my grade 8 class.
Ooh.
I made a speech at graduation. I got a standing ovation for that speech. I threw in some roast jokes about the teachers, about the school, about different students and parents and stuff. And it was really in that moment where, people are standing up, and I was like, I don't know what this feeling is, but I want this feeling somehow every day. And that's kind of where it started for me.
Jeff, you know how nice that is to hear, because almost, including Rudy and me here on the show, because most often when I ask that question is, well, my dad hated me, and the only time he was ever happy is when I stood in front of the TV and told him jokes. I mean, there's a lot of that. Well, there's a lot of that in the business, obviously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I had ever met my father, I'm sure that may have been me.
There you go. There
We got another one.
That's why we're kindred spirits.
We got another daddy issue.
Every time. Oh, Jeff, I don't want to talk at length about it, but Rudy went through it, I went through it, you went through it too, huh?
Yeah, it's I didn't know how far back we were going with where this started, but yeah, if you want you I sends it all the way back. I'm sure it started with my
Oh,
father.
Jeff.
It was a stormy night after a Calgary Flames game.
Right.
My mother had had a couple of whiskeys, walked down to the bar. My dad was down there drawing his sorrows.
Oh, Jeff, it's so sad that it's all so predictable, isn't it? It's just terrible. But I think, once again, maybe we as Canadians and Americans should look at it and go, you know what? You take some misery and make something really fun and nice from it. Maybe we should do that again instead of just looking down and hating everyone and everything. At least in your situation and in Rudy's and in mine, we stepped up and went, hey, you know what? It wasn't great, but we made something of it, and we're much happier because of it. So it's a good story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And everything like that is all in how you look at it as well. I think a lot of people look at stuff, that happen in life and use it as a reason to. Some people use it as a reason to treat people poorly, or some people use it as a reason to be depressed, and other people look at it and can make light of it. And I was really lucky. My family, like my mom's side of the family, and my grandparents and everybody was humor was just such a huge part of our lives and the fabric of growing up. So that was really built into me at an early age. Was we laugh at whatever's going on. There's always something funny in it, and you just have to look for that.
See, I wish everybody looked at it that way, Jeff. I really do. Let's find something good. Let's find something funny. All the rest. I do have to ask you one question, though. And I mean this as a huge compliment, because this man had no bigger fan than me. And by the way, I'm not saying that the way you pose yourself is exact, because he outweighed you by about 150 pounds. But I love the picture you sent over. Are you aware of the picture that we used? The one where you're kind of giving it it's back there, that thing with your thumb?
I know the one. I know the one you're talking about, yeah.
I look down, your last name is Leeson. I look at that picture and I go, man, Leeson, because that was every time Jackie Gleason went, get out, he'd do exactly what you're doing in that picture.
Oh, really?
I love that, man. That's wonderful.
Do you know who Jeff looks like? Jeff, we have a stand-in producer, AJ.
Yeah, kind of.
And I feel like you have the
Yep.
exact same look as AJ. You guys have very similar kind eyes.
Well, thank you very much. And I get that a lot. It's always not the kind eyes thing. That's very nice. But but I get that a lot of who you look like, and then they'll tell me somebody they know that I don't know.
You're welcome.
Sure.
Yeah. Currently, I have a face that is very commonly used.
Well, that's a possibility. Now, yesterday I went through something that wasn't too pleasant, Jeff, because apparently some people decided the Gilgo Beach killer on Long Beach Island killed about 11 women. They just arrested him. I got several messages. Boy, he looks a lot like you, Tom. Like, great, thank you. I look like I'm a serial killer. I appreciate that.
Oh, boy. See, I'll take AJ over that any day.
Oh, AJ's a great guy, too, buddy.
Yeah, we assume he hasn't killed anybody, but I actually don't know him that well.
Well,
Couldn't have been a hot serial killer like Ted Bundy.
Right.
Somebody who's got also soft eyes. You know?
Yeah.
he was handsome. You can't get around the fact that Ted Bundy was a handsome guy. No question. So, Jeff, have you ever worked the Parkway Theatre before?
No, this is my first time. This is actually my first show in Minneapolis. I've only done St. Paul so far, which was last year. Had a great time, and so this is the first time at the Parkway and in Minneapolis.
The Parkway has, I mean, a lot of history. People in Minneapolis love the Parkway Theatre. It's in this really kind of cool neighborhood. And you were telling me, Rudy, you get over there once in a while, right?
Yeah, I love that theater. There's, you know, that part of town kind of went through like a ebb and flow, because for a long time it's where everybody wanted to hang out, and then it got a little dicey, and then now they've kind of really upped it, man. Like there's some killer restaurants in that area right now, and the Parkway, I mean, they're really bringing in some heavy hitters. Rory Scovel was just recently there. I know Michael Ian Black just performed, Neil Brennan. So, you know, you're standing on stage with, you get an opportunity to be like in a small neighborhood theater to go see some big names.
Jeff, Rudy always talks about how different his comedy has to be for even, in the cities or, stepping out of the cities. Do you find a lot of similarities between Canada and the Twin Cities?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a certain vibe, I would say, that's it's kind of tough to really pinpoint, but there's an energy that I think is very, very similar to a Canadian audience that I've always felt in that area. I've always felt very at home, even more than in the rest of the country.
You know what I love about that is about 95% of people I talk to, for some reason, they do not know that Toronto's way south of Minneapolis. They have no idea that's true.
Really?
Yeah. Toronto's way south of Minneapolis, is way north of Toronto.
That's when I become a flat earther, where I go, no, it's not true. You're lying. Sorry.
You can look at the map, sister.
I refuse to.
I'm just telling you, but, you guys way up there in Canada. No, wait a minute. They're south of us.
That's insane. That can't be true.
Well, I do believe that parts of Toronto are, or parts of the United States are a lot of them, like 20 states or something. Part of those states are north of Toronto. So tell them to shut up, Jeff. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I will start doing that. I feel like I'm not telling enough people to shut up. So I'm very excited. I'm gonna make sure I know exactly where I am on the map at all times, and if I even hear mention of Toronto, even if they're not saying anything about it being north or south, I'm just going to tell a lot more people to start shutting up.
You should. You absolutely should.
They're going to assume that you just got off our show. They're going to know that comes from Tom Barnard.
Well, you've been working with Tom, have you? It's great. Nice attitude. I suppose that's probably true, but it's one of those situations where you just move forward. I think it's just terrific. Again, I'll mention the Parkway one more time before we move on, because Jeff, I'm very, very serious. I think you're going to love that theater. It's in a great part of town. The architecture is kind of like, those houses look kind of like cabins up in the mountains.
Yeah.
They kind of do, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what that style is or whatever, Old English style or something, but yeah, you're going to love it. And by the way, I do. Oh, well, Jeff said you said you worked St. Paul before, so you know this. I don't know that comedians get treated any better than they do in the Twin Cities. People love comedy here.
Yeah, the crowds there were awesome. When I was there, last year we did this fall tour, and it was one of the first. The St. Paul shows were, I think, the first two, or maybe the second or third shows on that tour, and yeah, the crowds were just awesome. Very smart, they were the right kind of rowdy, where they're out for a good time, but they're not disruptive. And yeah, it was awesome.
Jeff, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but you got to bring it up, the fact that comedy has changed in the last few years. Certain things that you can't talk about, that you used to be able to talk about, and it seems that list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I hope it doesn't get much bigger, but does that create a problem? Well, Rudy, question for you too, for both of you. Does it cause you problems?
I'll let Jeff answer that one first.
Okay.
For me personally, it hasn't really caused many problems. I'm not I don't touch on subjects that typically I don't touch on subjects that are that controversial to begin with. So I've been very lucky in that regard. A lot of my style in my show is very improvisational. It's very creating stuff in the moment. So unless somebody takes a question or takes something and they go with it somewhere, but I'm usually pretty good at reining that in or pulling it back or stopping it from going too far. So luckily for me, I've built sort of this style in this act where that kind of stuff wasn't too bad for me. But yeah, every once in a while, it just happens to anybody. You might touch on something, or you might get get into an area or get into a subject matter or something where somebody is offended. Might not even be the whole room. It could just be one person and their own personal experience or something like that. I've been very lucky on that side that it hasn't affected me too much.
Same situation, Rudy?
Yeah, I get a lot of people that say you need to go a little harder.
Oh,
You need to
there
be
you go.
edgier. And I'm
There
like,
you
I'm
go.
not that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I just want to go up and tell you a funny story about, riding my bike when I was a kid. We get enough of that on the planet, of people arguing. I have a couple of jokes. I have one about one of my good friends, Nate. He transitioned to Natalie. I tell that story. I tell a story about, I kind of complain about people who use pronouns, and I have one Joe Biden joke, and it's not even a bad one, So I don't really go that line, but a lot of people are like, you got to push it more. And I'm like, no. I watch what happens when people get pigeonholed like that.
Yeah.
And to go back to Jeff talking about it being such his show was so improvised. I've seen Jeff 3 times, and one time opened for him. The other 2 I just went as a fan, and all 3 times, completely different show every single time.
Wow.
Which is such a testament because there's another comic that I really like who is a lot of crowd work. And I went and saw him in the early show and thought, I got to spend another $25 and see this guy at the late show. That was the funniest, in-the-moment, improvised show I've ever seen in my life. And then I bought tickets to the late show, and it was the same exact show I saw at the 7 o'clock. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened here?
Which is also a talent.
Absolutely,
'Cause I can't say things twice and rarely make them sound authentic.
Yeah.
You mean once?
I can't say I can barely say things once. Working on the one-time
There you
thing.
have it.
But with Jeff, I'm telling you, it is every show is completely different and so funny, and it's an hour of just hitting you over the head nonstop. And how I heard about Jeff, somebody sent me. You should always tell when somebody is good because they organically send you a clip and go, "Have you ever heard of this guy?"
Yeah.
And then when you get that clip and you watch it, that's
Yep.
how you know that you're good, when people are passing your stuff around and it's unsolicited.
It's funny when I come in about 2 minutes before the show starts, and Rudy was just giggling in his studio because he was listing your stuff, Jeff. So that's always fun to see.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
What if she had walked by this morning and went, that sucked?
Boo!
Would you bring the boo?
Boo, Jeff.
That'd be really rare. No, the reason I asked you that, Jeff, and asked Rudy at the same time, I don't remember the name of the show. I had it in my head, and of course it got away. But it's a show from like 2008, 2009. It's on streaming. And things have changed a bit because in the 15, 20 minutes that I watched the show, and it's like a kind of drama thriller type of deal, a crime drama kind of deal. In that show, for no reason, and these are just women that work with him or whatever, this guy referred to women as a bitch or a whore like 5 times. So things have changed a little bit in the last 15 years. Thank God. I mean, it was really weird to hear that, Jeff. It really was.
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite a show. Quite an interesting show, especially if that's like a cop show.
I think it was actually.
Yeah. It was just Martha Stewart, the outtakes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Who killed this bitch?
You got to use that as a joke now, Jeff. That's a great line. Who killed this bitch? That's real nice. I love that. I think it's a magnificent idea, actually. Well, God, one of these times when you come to town, I know you're, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. You're working 4 different cities in 4 straight days. But I'd love to have you come in studio sometime and just sit around and put up with the misery like I have to.
I would love to. And it's for nothing else, but I'd love to meet AJ.
Oh, you should meet AJ. You'd love AJ. There's no question. He's just a really, really nice man. No question about that. So you get now. Are you going to drive from Ely to Minneapolis?
Oh yes, yeah. We drive. For the majority of the shows that we do, we drive. We're usually out. I travel with 2 other people. One guy that's sort of a permanent opening act and runs my merch for me, and then there's another guy that does all my video stuff.
Okay.
That travels with us, and because of all of our gear and everything, we drive all the time. So we've been back and forth across the country several times. So yeah, we'll definitely be doing that drive. We did that. I did that drive last September as well, Ely to St. Paul. Beautiful drive. There's sometimes we're on the road for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, depending on where each show is. But that's one thing I've really, really loved is being able to drive both across the U.S. and across Canada has been awesome.
But see, I don't think people understand that, when you're up on stage there, they think you flew in on a private jet and the blah, blah, blah. You guys, Ely to St. Paul's got to be, about a 7.5-hour drive, something like that? Or it's not?
No,
it's not
that. It's only about 4 hours or so.
Oh, was that up?
4.5 tops. Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was way there.
But it's when you get outside of Virginia on your way to Duluth, that Highway 53, that is a boring stretch of highway. But right next to it, you have like all the iron ore pits, you have the giant trees, you have the state parks. It's beautiful. But then, there's a boring wall that you hit on that drive, and then there's nothing until you get all closer to the city.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's brutal.
So you don't connect with, there's no major, because the highways go straight up or straight left.
Yeah, once you get on to 35 and things start moving just around Cloquet, you're all right. But yeah, there's an interim kind of in between, just south of Virginia until you get to the 53 split. And that is a brutal stretch of highway to drive sometimes.
I got to believe it. So, I guess the reason I'm even bringing that up, Jeff, is I wish people would understand what you guys go through before you even hit the stage. It takes something out of you driving. I don't care if it's only 4 hours, 5 hours. You talk about being on the road for 12 hours some days. That takes a lot out of you to travel that far and then get up on stage. You were just up on stage last night. Now you're up there again. So tip of the cap, man. That's a hell of a lot of work. I wish people had would understand that.
Yeah, it's one thing that really I think helped me just in getting into this and being a part of the comedy industry is I've always really liked long drives. Even when I was a kid, like we would go camping or something like that, and I would be in the back seat, and I would go with my grandparents or something like that. And I just always really enjoyed a good road trip. And, obviously when you're a kid, you don't know how that will affect or impact, your life later on. And so when I started getting a lot more into comedy, and I was a road comic right out the gate pretty much, touring around, and wasn't really, I wasn't a New York City or an LA or a Toronto based comic. I was always on the road, and that really helped me, and just was one of those things where I know a lot of people that just friends and family members and stuff that don't really like long drives, but I've always enjoyed it, and it's really come in handy in this line of work.
That's magnificent. 1 month from tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, August 19th, the Parkway Theatre. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been to the Parkway, you want to go see comedy. It's a different experience, Rudy, is it not?
It's one of the best. Yeah, you'll love it. It's a great place. Yep.
Jeff, I look forward to maybe, and again, I don't know how, after driving 4 hours, you probably don't want to come in and do a show with somebody, but if you ever get time, we'd love to have you in studio.
Oh, I would absolutely love to. Yeah, I would love to do that regardless of how long we've been in the car or whatever. But yeah, I'd love to come in and hang out with you guys.
That'd be wonderful. Look forward to it, Jeff. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me, and thanks for everything, guys.
It's our pleasure. Jeff Leeson, ladies and gentlemen, coming to Minnesota again 1 month from tomorrow, August 19th. That's at the Parkway Theatre. It does piss me off that Joe had to close down. I'm not saying he had to close down the restaurant, but he did, because that was a big part of the Parkway for me, too, to go over and have dinner over there at his spot.
Yeah.
I love that area. Well, my brother Terry lived about 3 houses down from the Parkway Theatre back when I was a teenager. Terry's 9 years older than me, so I remember just spending a ton of time in that neighborhood. Just love that area over there.
Yeah.
Wonderful area. All right, we got to take a break. Be right back. Look at that, man. He was great. Did you know him from before?
I was a fan and then opened up for him in southern Minnesota like 4 months ago. And we just kind of hit it off. And I saw he was coming to the Parkway. And I was like, hey, man, you want to come on? Because we had talked about having him on before when I opened up for him. And we just couldn't make it work scheduling-wise. And he's got, trust me, you will not be disappointed seeing Jeff Leeson live. He is a killer on stage. He's so good.
I think it's magnificent. Yeah, I really enjoyed talking to him. That was a great call because I really, really like talking to him a lot. He's a very, very nice man. We got to take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Kristyn Burtt will join us after this. So if you've been following my progress with mnfatloss.com, I've lost right at 25 pounds now. And you can do too. Oh, again, I should remind people I was down 27, but I was sick for a couple of weeks. And when you're not moving, I don't care how much you eat, you are not going to lose weight. I can promise you that.
Yeah, we're going to give you a pass on that, sir.
Yeah, there is that.
Okay.
I'm lost right at 25 pounds. You can do it too with mnfatloss.com. Summer special, $200 off now through July 30th. Look, I'm in now as of yesterday. Phase 2 of the program, I'd like to lose about another probably 25 to 30 pounds. Maybe 25, probably do a good job. Can't recommend this program any higher, by the way. Of course, any fat loss program is going to take some effort, but honestly, with mnfatloss.com comes the secret to fat loss. This program was way easier than I expected. Now, I'll be on the maintenance program for a while, and I might consider going back to the weight loss phase. Like I said, I've already considered that, and I am doing it. I'd like to lose that 25 extra pounds. The maintenance program allows me to add some back in some more foods I love, still maintain my weight loss. You'll absolutely be able to lose weight like I've done and save $200 with their summer special, $200 off now through July 30th. If you want to find out the secret to losing 20 to 30 pounds in just 8 weeks, and by the way, I almost guarantee that, just like I'm doing, it's about a pound of fat every day, by the way. No exercise required. To schedule your free consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com. Results may vary. Be sure to tell the team at mnfatloss.com that Tom Barnard sent you.
The new Tom Barnard Morning Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner.
On MyPillow's 20-year anniversary with over 80 million pillows sold, Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillow's regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98, and just $10 more for king size. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts your exact individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for only $19.98. Enter promo code TOM. In addition to this special anniversary offer on the MyPillows, you will also receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. Take advantage of the biggest sale in MyPillow's history. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to take advantage of Mike's special offer on his MyPillow. That's MyPillow.com, promo code TOM. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Corey Wisco of the Wellshire.
It's difficult to put in words the relationship that we have with North American Banking Company. You know, they've been there from the very beginning with our vision of providing quality dementia care for individuals, and they've been a partner all the way through. They really are there for us.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. No, is it KB2, right? I got to keep track. Yeah, okay, because it's KB1, KB2, KB3, and now KB4. We got 4 KBs that are involved with the show, which is, it's wearing me out. I got to be honest with you.
It's a lot of KBs in your life.
So, watched a little TV with Catherine last night. What the hell did we watch? I can't even remember what the hell we watched anymore. I'll have to think about it. Anything good? Anything good happening in Hollywood as far? It doesn't look like it's any better to me.
No, it's not a lot better. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's really become kind of a war. If you take a look, SAG said, this is what we tried to negotiate. This is what they offered. And then the AMTPT is just like, no, that's not what it was. And know who knows who's telling the truth and what happened behind closed doors and negotiations. But I think what everyone's struggling right now is like, what can you do? What can't you do? Because we're fighting for one particular scripted TV film contract.
Yeah.
Other people are working. But SAG is telling like influencers, if you want to join the union, you can't be talking about movies. You can't be promoting movies. You can't take paid promotions for movies. And these are people who are currently non-union.
Are there some loopholes? Because I was just reading about one that was like a biblical show called The Chosen that was kind of trying to figure out loopholes through all this.
There is a waiver available to independent production. So if you are not a production company who is a part of the AMTPT that is currently being negotiating with all of the actors right now, you can apply for a waiver. And if they double check that you're independently financed and that you're an independent production company, you will be allowed to shoot. And that's why I think this is going to be another golden age of independent film and television, which I'm kind of excited about.
Yeah.
Because we might get some really great original stories and not have to see 18,000 sequels.
It's a good plan. Oh, I just thought we were watching Murdoch Mysteries last night, the Canadian show, Toronto. That Yannick Bisson, that's how you say his name is Bisson. I'm sure his name isn't Bison. It's Bisson probably, right?
Bisson.
Yannick Bisson. He's very, very good. You know that show is still alive? I mean, it's been on the air, I think, like 17 years.
Dang-a-lang, like what, like 20 episodes per season kind of thing, too?
It's amazing.
Yeah, that show is. Did you ever watch that show?
I haven't watched Murdoch Mysteries.
Really good. They do a nice job with the show from top to bottom.
We will see a lot of Canadian and UK shows come here to the US because of this. CBS is bringing over a couple of shows. They said they're retooling their fall schedule. They had already announced that they're supersizing things like Survivor and Amazing Race for the fall.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a big thing. They're bringing Yellowstone over from Paramount Plus to CBS for the fall. So anyone who does not have a subscription has been dying to watch the show. Guess what? Your episodes are coming.
See, that's nice to hear.
Yeah. I got to ask you about, there's 2 notable divorces in Hollywood.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And yesterday was an explosion. Then Lindsay Lohan had her baby, and we were like typing away.
Right?
I was like, I can't handle this news.
Wait a second. She's on the show now. Don't bring up the divorce.
Oh, that's awkward. I'm sorry, Kristen. Oh, yeah.
You
I'm
didn't
sorry.
hear
He
yet?
reached out to us. Maybe we weren't supposed to mention it until the paperwork goes
Bill
through.
is like, sorry to tell you, but Britt's going to break the news to you.
He wanted you to hear it from a friend.
So I should take this off then.
Yeah, I wear it. On the other hand, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
She's taking it off of that. That took you a long time to try to pull that off your finger.
Yeah, tell us about the first one was Ariana Grande that popped out, and I actually forgot completely she was married because it happened during the pandemic.
Right. So Ariana Grande split from Dalton Gomez. He is a real estate agent out here, and he deals in kind of like, if you ever watch $1 Million Listing, he's in that echelon of like real estate agents. He needs to be here in Los Angeles. When they met, it was quarantine, it was lockdown, everything was fabulous. Ariana stayed here. All of a sudden the world opens up and he realizes, oh my gosh, I'm dating a pretty big star who needs security when she goes out.
Oh, sure.
There's paparazzi following us. And oh, by the way, she's filming 2 Wicked movies back to back in London for the next year. So I think that they just realized that a long distance marriage was not going to work for them. He made a last ditch effort to kind of save their marriage in May, which I think is kind of cute. You know, that he tried. He's like, I do want to make this marriage work. And he flew over there. It lasted about 2 weeks. And then they realized just their lives are just so different. It's not going to work for them. And this had been, I will say, anyone who follows the Instagram gossip site Dumois, which has unverified information. You never know if it's true or not. They've been hinting at this for 7 or 8 months. So I think that, you know, oftentimes where there's smoke, there's fire. That was definitely a situation there.
Yeah, and then on the other spectrum of marriages, I like refused to acknowledge that are divorcing was Sofia Vergara and
Oh,
Joe.
really?
I know. That was
I didn't
yesterday.
know
It
that.
popped up, and I was like, I have to talk to Kristen. I want to hear what your take is on who you think left who.
Okay, so it's Sofia Vergara and her husband Joe Manganiello. A lot of people will know him from Magic Mike and True
Yep.
Blood. Everyone,
Yep.
I think, knows Sofia.
Yeah.
They're like two of the most good-looking people in Hollywood. When you see them, they command a red carpet. I have a thing for Joe Manganiello, by the way.
I have a thing for both of them. They're
handsome.
gorgeous.
I know, she's stunning.
Yeah.
She at one point was the highest paid woman in Hollywood, by the way. So I'm hoping that there is a prenup because this is going to get ugly real fast. But I wrote an article last week, which was really weird because normally when he wishes her a happy birthday, it was her 51st birthday. It's usually this, mi amor, I love you so much. You were the best thing to ever happen to me. And last week he wrote, happy birthday, Sophia, ! With an old photo that was blurry. And I was like,
it was like literally Feliz Cumpleaños, like pretty quick. Like
That's cold.
yeah. Yeah, in English and in Spanish, and then just like a sculpture in the second photo. It was really weird. And I was like, is there something to this? Because that was a very cold, happy birthday message that is out of the norm for the two of them.
Yeah.
And she was off in Italy, and normally they spend their entire summer on their European yacht vacation, and he was not there with her. She was with a bunch of girlfriends. So you start going, And sure enough, they said that they were growing apart, and that was that. I don't know in this one. I feel like probably Sophia left Joe.
that's what my
I'm gonna be honest.
speculation was. I just feel like and it's only speculation, Tom, but the way he looks at her is I don't think he would ever leave her. So I think she left him. And again, it's complete speculation. I have no any proof of why.
So, Rudy,
Right.
you think, two women talking about a third woman and she wins, do you think that has anything to do with it?
Man, even in the state of Minnesota on the radio shows, women have an easier time in divorce. Man, that is unbelievable.
But here's the thing, like either that or he's the victim or she's the victim. I feel like I don't know what it is. It just seems like he plays the lonely heart a little bit.
Well, and he was obsessed with her for years
Yes.
before he ever went on a date with her. Like, this has been his dream girl, and he married his dream girl. And I just think sometimes, and I'm going to say this, and there's a lot, this is a discussion on TikTok, which I find really interesting. Women, and people don't come at me, just understand that women, your role, in the 1950s was to like graduate from high school, meet the man you're going to marry, have children, keep a great home and everything else. And women have explored that there's so many different opportunities. And now that science has caught up, there's so many different ways to have a family. Sometimes we don't need you guys. We've been making our own money.
Well, isn't that nice? Now?
I wonder for Sophia if she's just like, this is not working for me. This is the kind of life I want to live.
Okay.
And off she goes, having her like hot girl summer.
I have to ask the two women then, because I already brought this up to our buddy to my right here. But last night I went to bed, and on the way to bed, I said to Catherine, because, work nights we don't sleep together because I get up so early, and she gets up around, I think, noon, 1, something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Somewhere there. But I'm going to bed last night. I go, good night, my love. And she goes, yeah, good night. What the hell is that, Kristyn?
What did you do, Tom?
Yeah, see, what did I do, Tom? It had to be
What
me.
did you do to upset KB1?
No, she's just like Tom is the emo one and she is the practical. Yep. All right, cool. I'll see you tomorrow. And Tom is like he would probably write her a epic poem every night. Oh, Catherine, the love of my life. And she's like, yeah. I'm gonna go feed Jude, put him to bed.
Exactly.
And I'm Tom in my relationship. I'm far more emo than Justin. Like, I'll be like, if I was a snail, would you keep me in a terrarium and love me? And he's like, okay, please go to bed. Like, we don't need to do this every night.
Bedtime. Once again.
No,
Let's go.
I'm the practical one. I get KB1. I'm like, good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
Is Bill the emo one then?
He's much more sensitive than I am. I am very East Coast. I'm like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Maybe you weren't ready for it, but that's that.
Well, I like that Bostonian deal. I like that anyway. I know you're not from Boston, but Massachusetts is close enough.
It's close enough.
It's the same state, so it works for me. But I just, it's so funny how she was raised, how I was raised, and all the rest of it. And that's a lot of it. Obviously, your family of origin has a lot to do with the way you handle those things. So I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Bill's one of 7. He's
okay.
and I'm the oldest child, and he is one of the youngest kids. So we had a very, very different childhood because, by the time you get down to, 5, 6, 7, it's the older kids raising the younger kids more than, it's just different parenting where I had my mom there at every field trip and, every dance recital, just very different.
Yeah,
There's only me and my brother.
My sister Vicky, who's just older than me. I have an older brother and 2 older sisters. And my older sister is just 2 years older than me. She basically raised me because my mother was always working. And my father was in the nut house. So, it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, my mom is the oldest of 6, and she raised her 3 youngest kids because it was just a tough situation in the house, and she knew if she didn't take care of them, nobody was taking care of them.
By the way, I should mention my sister Vicky, whom I adore, is just a little shorter than Quinta Brunson. So
She's pocket sized and cute and adorable.
she's 4'11". Did you know that? That Quinta Brunson is 4'11".
I did.
I think that's magnificent because she's a, and this is a compliment. She's a tough broad, as they used to say.
Oh, speaking of tough broads.
I love her.
Kristyn's got homework for you that she did.
Oh, you got homework? Okay. here
Remember,
we go.
you wanted like a list of shows with like tough women as the central character. I came
I'm
out with
doing this
so
to
many. I don't know if we get through all of them, but I can like write up the list and give it to Britt, and you can use it how you want. And I've been trying to I'm going to say first of all, because I've been trying to get you to watch this show, Unprisoned. We've mentioned it several times with Kerry Washington on Hulu.
What's it called?
Unprisoned.
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 They made up a word.
Kerry Washington and Delroy Lindo, but it's about her dad getting out of jail and he comes to live with them.
Oh, see, I would like that, I think.
And it's a comedy. Not
What?
like a ha-ha-ha sitcom
No,
comedy, but like, I would say like a dramedy. You know how they like to do that.
Yes.
You know what's funny? My dad getting out of the joint. There's some humor.
Hilarious.
Hilarious, babe. Okay, so what's that called?
Unprisoned.
Unprisoned, okay. And that's on
Yeah.
Hulu, all right.
That's on Hulu. Kerry Washington also has another show. I'm not sure I felt like it was as good, but that Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah, yep,
Did you see that one?
yep, I did. Well, she used to pop on the Q once in a while in the morning. She's very, very pleasant.
She's so nice. I
She is,
interviewed
yep.
her for Unprisoned earlier this year, and I don't know if people realize when you do a press junket, you get 4 minutes with a celebrity, and you're
Yeah.
trying to cram
Yep.
in every question possible. And I asked my final question, and they were trying to like wrap me up, and she's like, "No, I'm going to answer this because this is a good question," and like went and gave me like the best answer, and I
That's
was
wonderful.
like,
That's cool.
yeah.
And then
I
you
love
got
people like
Robert
that.
De Niro.
Yep. Nope.
No,
Nope.
no. Well,
Eh.
you know what you should do to him next time you interview Robert De Niro, because he never answers questions. You go, yeah, no. Yeah. And 3 minutes in, if you only got 4 minutes, 3 minutes in and go, what's that pussy thing on the back of your neck? I think you should do that to him because he'll go berserk.
I think I'm going to ask him for dad tips. What's it
Dad
like having
tips?
a newborn? in
Yeah,
your
I'm sure
70s?
he'll have a lot of tips for you, Kristyn.
82
He'll be
years
like
old.
the nanny, the baby nurse,
Yeah.
the night nanny, the weekend nanny.
So do you share your oatmeal with the baby, or how does it?
Yeah.
Are you guys in
We
the same
share
diapers
applesauce.
yet?
How old is she?
Like what, a month, 2 months at this point?
Yeah, she's a newborn. I would say she's within the 3-month
Yeah.
stage.
They make a little noise back then.
Yeah.
You know, it's just how it is.
Every few hours she's up, but I don't know how his hearing is though, so maybe he's not hearing it.
I think this is what you should do for him. If you've got 4 minutes at the 3-minute mark, say, we're done here.
Yeah, that's it. You're out.
Just like, because
We're just
he's
wrapping it up.
going to give you nothing anyway, so just pull a power move on him. Nah, I think I'm good here. Can we get to the next one?
Well, I promise you right now, none of the interviews are happening because we're not allowed to
Right.
interview any SAG
Right.
actors. So
Good point.
it's so now I'm like authors. Like yesterday I reached out to an author that I'm going to interview, but we're having to get very creative in the entertainment journalism space.
Sure.
This is my Kerry Washington trifecta. Scandal. Did everyone watch Scandal?
I've only seen it like random episodes. I never followed the whole series.
Oh, it's really good from start to finish. It's a Shonda Rhimes show. It's juicy. And when you think like this couldn't happen, and I would imagine if I watched this maybe in a post-Trump era, I would probably be like, of course that happened.
Yeah.
So, but when we were watching it during the Obama, you're like, nah, that wouldn't happen. And then you're like, you realize there's so much we don't know that happens in government.
What happens?
Just everything. It's like everything that could happen does happen. It's kind of like the like a medical drama, but like a political drama. Like all those medical dramas, we were like, whoa.
She plays Olivia Pope, who's a fixer. So she is a crisis publicist in D.C., and she fixes big crises that happen to politicians or to the president. And she has an affair with the president, by the way. So, of course, we all believe that could happen.
Oh, yeah, I believe it's happened
Many times over.
Did you ever hear of a guy named JFK? He, not bad, cheated on his wife and was in the mafia. But other than that, he was a good president.
No
big
problem.
deal.
I know. And we romanticize Camelot, you know?
God, I see. I don't want to hang on this subject, but I did see the rest of the Kennedy family has pretty much turned on RFK Jr. I'll tell you that. Holy Christ.
They are like, we don't know him.
Yeah, they are. They're like, I don't know who you're talking
They
about.
just keep writing new phone, who dis? New phone, who dis? That would be my political stance if I was Olivia Pope.
They're
Just do that.
probably calling Joe Biden going, we are so sorry.
Right.
Probably true.
We're in your corner, Joe, we promise. I mean, because, you have to remember, especially if you live in New England, the Kennedy mystique still lives in that area.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, I understood like who the Kennedys were and like what it meant to everyone. And, when Kennedy died, like how it was just so, I mean, it was epic for the nation, but for that particular, like for Massachusetts, it's still not forgotten.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely. And I told you, I love people from Massachusetts, particularly from Boston, because they're straight ahead. Really? Why don't you kiss my ass? I love that about Boston.
Yeah, they are. We're so, we have no filter whatsoever.
No,
I've learned to
great.
filter myself a little bit because sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it to be helpful and I think I was hurtful. So as I've gotten older, I've learned to do that better.
There's something magical, though, about that East Coast bluntness, though, because if you ask a New Yorker for directions, they will give it to you in a very funny way. And like Minnesota will go, I don't know, I'm so sorry, and like walk away and there's like, fakeness. But like a New Yorker will be like, oh my God, you really don't know where you're at. Well, okay. Like they'll insult you a little, but they'll like give you, they'll say, okay, do you know this? And you'll literally be so aggressive about the question. Well, have you been on 50th and 4th? No. Well, okay. Well, then we got to figure out a different way. Like it's hilarious.
Like, you have to see facts. Once you see facts, you'll know you're in the right direction. Yeah. I used to get asked, when I lived in New York City, I was the person that got asked for directions all the time because I'm not very threatening.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm going to send people on their right way. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of breaking my heart right now because I have a friend that's doing some business in Philadelphia this week.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's just a disaster.
Oh.
There are tents and people living in the street and sleeping in the street everywhere. Why can't they take care of this problem?
I would love to know, because I know a lot of cities are spending a lot of money and building housing and they're not getting people to go. And and let's say, okay, there's a group that wants to live on their own. They don't want to go into housing.
No, they're
they don't
mentally
want to
ill.
stop their life of drugs or whatever it is. They don't want the rules. But there are some who truly, truly need help and want help. I'm like, why aren't we scrambling to get more people back on their feet?
Do you want to know why I think it is? Because homeless people don't vote. They don't care. If you don't vote, they don't give a rat's ass about you.
And
and that's sad. And I'm talking about both parties, by the way.
That's so sad. It's also so hard once you get in the I don't want to say the prison system, but in the courts.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get out of that because there's you have to constantly keep going to appointments, and if you don't have reliable transportation, and then there's a warrant out for your arrest if you don't, or if there's like a small fee that turns into a warrant. It is really hard to get out of the court systems once you're in it.
No, there's no question about that.
And for women who are, maybe fighting domestic violence, have kids, there's another added element of danger to all of this. So, yeah, it's a really big struggle.
This is not a political statement either, but if we're going to spend $39 billion, why don't we do something to help the people that really need it?
I know, right?
What are we doing?
Let's let go of some of these parking tickets for people that are living in their car and trying to get to their job. I just go, oh my God, watching it is hard. It's a struggle.
They don't vote, so nobody gives a rat's ass.
No, and
they don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't. They're never going to be a demographic that helps you. So why would you help them?
Yeah, it's really too bad. I'm sorry to hear that, though, because I'm a huge fan of Philadelphia. As you know, I talk about Boston all the time. I loved living in New York. The East Coast was wonderful to me. It really was.
Yeah, it's a great area.
I love the bluntness, too. It's like, why don't you go F yourself? Oh, okay.
You don't know where you are? Why did you come here then?
What's your problem?
I love that. I do. It's how I grew up, right? None of your goddamn
My favorite.
business.
I have a story about this. We were doing. We were hosting a show when I worked for Toyota. We did a show and we were giving away mugs. And we were somewhere in downtown Boston. And we were like, do you want a mug? And my co-host said that to someone. She's like, no, I got a mug, and walked away.
Yeah. And like, I wish I could just say that. Because, like, I don't want a mug either, to be honest. But I'm Minnesotan, so I'd say, yes, I love your mug. Thank you. I'm going to cherish it forever.
Like, it's free. We want to give you
I don't want your mug. I don't want it either.
But I got a mug. We have never forgotten that. It probably has happened 15 years ago, and every once in a while he'll send me a text. I got a mug.
I got a mug.
It's almost like they just bitch to bitch about everything.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had a comedy club I was performing at in Boston had called me one day, and then I got off the phone with the guy, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to ask him. So I just hit redial.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And the guy answers. I go, hey, man, it's Rudy. I was just on the phone with you. How'd you get this number?
I was just on the phone with you.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, I was like, you just called me. Erase this number from your phone immediately. I was like, we were just talking 43 seconds ago. Why is this a thing?
That's so funny.
Oh, Christ. I got to get back out to the East Coast. Although if it's going to make me sad, I don't want to go.
I don't know. I love New York. I love
York's great.
visiting New York, to make it clear. After like 3 days of having to pay $20 to use a bathroom,
Well,
I
there is
usually do like to come home to Minnesota where somebody
Britt,
would...
you need to call me. I know where all the free secret bathrooms are in New York. So
Perfect.
right there. Yes.
That's a good thing.
That's actually super valuable. You should probably make a map of that, but then they wouldn't be free anymore.
There is a map on TikTok. I know some girl has also charted it, but
Oh, nice.
I had a dream that when my grandchildren grew to be teenagers or whatever, that I would take them all to New York and show them where we lived and put them up and go to the Carnegie Deli. But the Carnegie Deli's closed. So, yeah, no.
Well,
They closed. How the hell do you close down the Carnegie Deli? Damn it.
the pandemic
I know. It just breaks
and
my
rent
heart.
is sky high
Yeah,
in New York
yep, it
City.
is.
That's
Carnegie-
the other issue.
Carnegie Deli, that's been closed for a while,
It has,
right?
yeah. Yep, it has indeed. It was so much fun, but honest to God, I don't mind the word because this is what he said, but the first time I ever went to Carnegie Deli, and I've told this story many times before, but I walked into Carnegie Deli, and about 3 seconds later, Henny Youngman walks in, right? And there's this server, this woman, who has a very low-cut top. And as I'm walking by her, he's behind me by about 15 feet. I don't know he's there until I heard her voice and turn around, right? I walk in, walk past her. Hi, how you doing? All of a sudden, I hear Henny Youngman go, excuse me, lady, your tits are hanging out.
Oh, my God.
Okay, Henny, why don't we just go with that?
Thanks.
I'm in New York. Hey, I'm in New York.
He would love the Me Too era.
I know, right?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Carnegie, who had the joke where the guy goes, quick, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? And the guy goes, practice. Yeah, who was
I
that?
love
Do
that.
you remember
That's
the
a good
joke?
joke.
I remember the joke.
Yeah.
Practice.
But I forget who said it. It's a famous...
Yeah, because the same
famous
thing
one,
happened.
yeah.
I was walking past First Ave one day, and the guy was out there putting the stars up. You know,
Oh, right,
and he was
yeah.
painting it. I said, how do I get one of those? And he goes, practice, asshole.
There you go. Well, there you have it.
Is it
right
Jack
there.
Benny?
Oh, maybe that's who it was. Yeah,
I love
that sounds.
Jack
yeah.
Benny. God, he was so different. Rochester. Now I'm going to think of that all day because of you. Rochester.
Rochester.
All right, young lady, a brilliant report, I thought. Although I love it. I have a list for you. You got to one show.
She had, look at her. I know that Kristyn's personality type, after doing this for 6 months, this woman does her homework. She's the type that wants to show you and check her sources. Absolutely.
Okay, one before you go. One more before you go. No, you don't have to talk about just
That is
just
a
the name.
lot of stress. Okay, here's one that's like on regular linear TV that anyone can watch. Law and Order SVU.
I've never watched that.
Mariska Hargitay is fantastic.
Yeah, she is. She's a very strong woman.
so
You're right.
good.
She is a very strong woman.
So good.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Yeah,
All right.
I have old school. I got new ones. I'll type them all up for you, and we'll share them with the world on social.
Works for me. Thank you, my dear.
You bet.
Have a
I'll
good
see you in a couple hours.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thanks a lot.
It's a lot.
Kristyn Burtt, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a break. Be right back. The lovely and talented Chris Egert will join us. What's his name? Egret?
Is he both lovely and talented?
Yeah, maybe more talented than lovely,
That's
or maybe
probably
more lovely than talented.
Yeah, probably.
I love Chris. Chris is a good guy. Don't you think?
I adore Chris, but don't tell him.
Okay, he will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you. Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
We've been hearing about the new technology offered at Twin Cities Premier Health for the treatment of ED. This is one of those topics that can get uncomfortable to talk about, but the truth is, if new technology can improve your life by treating the root cause of most erectile dysfunction, why wouldn't we want to talk about it? Look, I've been going there I think I'm on my 6th treatment this week. Things go very well. It takes about 10, 15 minutes, not a big deal at all. It's a non-invasive, non-surgical, highly effective science-based procedure that creates an increase in blood flow and helps create new blood vessels by treating the root cause of most erectile dysfunction. If, like so many of my listeners, you aren't interested in continuing to take a pill to create a pharmaceutically induced erection and wipe all the spontaneity out, reach to the Twin Cities Premier Health like I did and right now receive this special offer. A free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is valued at $800, 952-395-4346. That's my unique phone number, 952-395-4346 for their office. Or go to TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to tell them Tom Barnard sent you. Yeah, it's so great to hear that song because looking back now, Catherine asked that we play that at our wedding as she was coming down the aisle. And therefore...
Oh, and she went to hell.
And she went to hell with Uncle Tommy.
But on the fast track.
Yeah, it's an even faster track to hell. That's nice. That's a good thing. So, Chris, once again this morning, I got up, I go sit down, I turn on the television, and I pop on Fox, and I pop on CNN, and I pop you guys, and I watch your show. You know, as I do that, just to see if there's anything nationally I should know.
Yeah.
First station, everything sucks. Second station, everything sucks. And then I watched you, and it was a normal newscast.
Did we inform you properly this morning?
You always do.
Good.
There's no getting around. I watch you every morning. It's wonderful.
That's a lot of pressure knowing that you're out there.
Well, at 4:30 in the morning, I open the front door and go, "That's my buddy that's on Channel 5, you know."
I know him.
I know him.
Yeah, I'm sure people would be really impressed to know that. They'd be like, who?
They would be plenty impressed.
I would love. We are in a state of our life right now that I can't turn on the TV in the morning, but I would love that. Like, I sneak out so Go-Go doesn't wake up. She doesn't wake up till like 7. I leave at like a little before 6. I would love to wake up with that. Sounds weird. I would love to watch you in the morning, Chris. That would be super fun.
You know, Brittany, you can always get us on the go with the 5 Eyewitness News mobile app.
See?
Does it do it live? So if I can listen to my... Okay, I'll listen on my AirPod then.
See? We got that problem solved quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, news brought to you by Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. In fact, I got to call Josh later on today. He wants to go to Bar La Grassa for dinner one night with his lovely wife and my lovely wife.
Same. I've never eaten there.
You've never eaten there?
No, your family has failed me.
Well, that'll happen. Maybe we'll get a big table set up or something. That'd be good. So, Chris, what do you got cooking this morning?
You know, it's a fairly quiet morning today, which is nice. There was I know you're keyed in on these train derailment stories. There was a train derailment that happened up in St. Louis County in Cook last night. 9 cars went off the track. It was a Canadian Pacific. It sounds like there are no leaks though, so that's good. So the train derailing is one thing, but it didn't appear to cause any large scale mayhem or anything, which is good.
Yeah, that's very good. Now, I don't remember this happening all the time when I've watched the news throughout most of my life until the last few years. Have there been a lot more in the last few years?
I don't think so. I think what we kind of figured out is the public's a little more keyed into it, as well as probably the media, because of the thing that happened in East Palestine in Ohio.
Right.
And I think that kind of just gets everyone a little more hyper about, and that's not to say they're not important or anything. It's just that I think when you've got something really big like that happens, I think people get a little more keyed into it.
Because I know a lot of the rail lines, I don't know about most of them or anything like that, but a lot of the rail lines are owned by billionaires now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Bill Gates owns some. Warren Buffett owns some. Other people do. So I don't know why the hell you'd want. I guess the train companies have to buy their way across the rail lines, do they not? They have to pay a fee for all that.
I assume as much. I'm not that up to speed on the process, but I do know that we talk quite a bit about the rail system, and it's very complicated.
I love riding a train. Like once in a while, back in the day, we'd take a train up to see my grandmother. She'd come down from Long Prairie and on the train, and I love train travel. I really wish the United States had gone further with it, like they did out east.
Have you got any of you guys ever taken a train over Lake Chicago?
Yep.
Yeah, I went from La Crosse, Wisconsin to Chicago for like a radio convention back in the day. And that observation cart, it was the best.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yeah, they got the big windows. You hang out, you sip a couple of drinks, you get to see parts of the country you think you'd never see. It's great.
See, you're looking at it as, man, that's fun. So every year, my mom would put me and my brother and my sister on the Amtrak and go all the way to Essex, Montana. And it was a 48-hour trip by ourselves, because that was how it worked.
Oh, so your mom wasn't with you?
Nope.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Nope.
Ooh.
And so I would have to fake asthma, so we made sure that we didn't sit in the smoking car.
Sure.
And everybody asking if these train derailments is this new? And I can assure you, it is not. I don't know how many times we'd be woken up in the middle of the night because we'd have to get on a Greyhound to, get bussed around the train derailment and get put on a different Amtrak. So what a 2-day trip turned into a 4-day trip, and then we only spent a couple days with our dad, and we would get sent back on the Amtrak to Minneapolis.
I love riding on the train. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's different. It's a different vibe when it's like that long, but it was also an adventure. Like every night they'd put on a different movie in the observation lounge or car, and you'd have to run there and get your spot. And they're like these hard plastic chairs, and it was fun, but it was also terrible.
Well, I still have a dream. Someday it'll happen. I don't know when the hell it's going to happen, but I do want to take the Canadian Pacific from the East Coast to the West Coast. I would love to take that, and that's got to be.
That would be cool.
How about like 4 days?
Oh
like
yeah.
That?
Oh, I'm sure of it. And just get the big room. Get the big room, and then it's kind of fun because if you get a room, you get every meal with it. So you kind of get up and go to the dining cart for breakfast and then lunch, and it kind of is. I think that would be more fun.
No, I mean Catherine and I took a train from I guess it was Calgary to Lake Louise.
Yeah,
we took a train the whole way across, and I shouldn't say the whole way across. It's not that far, but it's that 1-day travel.
Yeah.
It was. I loved it. Seeing all that scenery from a rail car is phenomenal.
That's perfect. And I think my favorite trip is when we go visit my grandma in Williston.
Sure.
It's 12 hours. You get on at night, you wake up, and you're there at 9 a.m.
Yep. So do you think we ever will use, the train travel out east is still as big as it ever was, I would assume.
Well, I think it's so much, the East Coast is set up so much better for it.
Yeah, it
and,
is.
the infrastructure is already there. There was a lot of talk about, and I think it's still kind of out there about a rail line between Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth. And I think they even got some of the funding for it in the last legislative session.
Okay.
I'm not remembering all the details of where that stood, but I knew that there was quite a lot of bureaucracy that actually stands between that happening. I mean, rail line is also very controversial because most of it's very, very largely subsidized and underused. And so, you know, that's always going to be the argument against rail.
If you ever get a chance, if it does happen, you got to do this, because I did it with my birth family. Took my mother and my brothers and sisters and all that stuff at Christmas time, and we hopped on the Amtrak over in St. Paul and took it all the way up to Duluth. And at Christmas time, you would not believe the amount of lights that you see along those rail lines. It's just
yeah, but that would be cool.
It's gorgeous. So if they ever do that again, definitely take that trip, because it's just spectacularly beautiful at Christmas time.
I am just looking forward to taking the Southwest Light Rail.
Don't get me started, Christopher.
I think that maybe there's a chance it'll happen in my lifetime, although I'm not sure.
When Gogo has her own kids, she'll be able to take them on the light rail.
Well, they might be finished by then. I'm not. How many years has that been now, Chris?
Oh God, I think it's been 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think.
And how many billions of dollars?
I just remember we were like regularly going to Vikings games when that whole thing was starting to get built, and the idea of hopping on a light rail station somewhat close to where we lived and taking the rail, I was just like, oh my gosh, this will be great. The kids and I will be able to go to it'll be so much fun. Dude, my kid's leaving for college this year. We're not taking the freaking train to the Vikings game. Like, it's not happening.
It's so, I drive by that every single day, and it's beautiful, and they built it quick. And I was like, wow, like this is really going to happen. And the whole side of it is like pristine and gorgeous. And they really integrated it with like the roads beautifully. And then just nothing.
Well, it just stops there right in the middle of Hopkins. But other than that.
I mean, if you do want to get to Hopkins, just walk it, because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I love Hopkins. It's wonderful. But yeah, all of that equipment that sits on that, let's say you're going 169 south to north, and you go by and you look down at the rail line in Hopkins, none of the machinery that's on that bridge ever moves. It's just every day it's sitting in the same spot.
It's a wonder they can't get that thing done.
Yeah. Wonder what the holdup might be. Oh, God.
I know. It's so depressing.
What was I going to say about the light rail? God dang it. I'm forgetting it now.
Good place to get robbed.
Oh, I know what it was. We were in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and, you know, they've got the L all over the place.
Sure.
And my wife was like, she was so fascinated with it. And she's like, I don't understand how this can be built and be standing for as long as it can, and they can't build a rail line from downtown Minneapolis to Eden Prairie. And I'm like, well, first of all, and then she was like, it just doesn't make sense. And then like 20 seconds later, this train rattles over us. It's like, you know, it's like so loud you can't hear anything. And I'm like, I looked at her, I go, well, that's why they can't build that kind of a rail line between Minneapolis and Eden Prairie.
Yeah.
It's so freaking loud, you can't even hear yourself. I'm like, no one's going to let something like that be in their backyards. So to Brittany's point, it's got to look nice. It's got to be, you know, sort of well hidden, and it sure as heck can't be that noisy.
No question about that. Unfortunately, I've never taken it myself, so I don't know this to be true, but I heard there's a little penchant for violence on our light rail system in Minnesota.
They're working on it.
Are they?
They say they are.
What was that eye dance you just did?
I don't know. They're very aware that the public Metro Transit, they're very aware from everything I've read that the public feels intimidated and and that the violence numbers are up.
Yes,
I know they're trying to get more people on the trains, trying to ride the trains and stop some of that stuff before it happens. I haven't ridden in a while, so I can't tell you what it looks like on a day to day.
I mean, I rode it for the Taylor Swift concert, and to tell you how excited, and I used to ride use public transit all the time when I lived in Bryn Mawr. To tell you how excited the people were for us on the
Yeah,
train
yep.
to go to the Taylor Swift concert. They're like, "Are you going? I heard she's in town." Like all this stuff. People were so nice. So I hope there's a trend where, because I always find that most people, if something weird happens, most people will stand up and help you. But yeah, there are the one-offs when you jump on that you go, I'm going to avoid. Or sometimes I've just, in the past, this is very rare. It only happened to me one time where I got on the bus and then the next stop I was like, I'm getting off.
Really?
Yeah, but that only happened one time.
What was going on?
There's just a guy that I feel like was drinking and it was just talking to me a little bit too much where I was like.
Oh, just you?
Yeah, I didn't.
Wasn't yelling at everybody?
No, I felt like, and so I had that moment where I was like, I waited till the bus was about to leave again for the next stop and I just jumped off quick. And it was more like my thing where I was like, I just don't want this
No, you
right
don't
now.
need that. You don't need that.
But that's only happened one time. Otherwise, I've had great experience on the transit. So.
Well, I mean, I just told you the story last week about the fact that I went over to Hubbard, and I get off on University Avenue off of, or the 280 exit or whatever the hell that is over there. And I take a left to go back to Hubbard, which is about 3-4 blocks, something like that.
Yeah.
About 2 blocks east of the Hubbard building, there's a guy standing in the middle of the street screaming F you at people and giving everybody who went by the finger. Standing right in the middle of the street. Now, I got to believe back in the old days when the police actually could do their job, they'd come and go, "Sir, why don't you let us give you a ride?"
Yeah.
What do you say? I mean, the guy was just screaming at the top of his lungs. He had this vicious look on his face, and I rolled the window down to see if I could calm him down, but he just wouldn't come anywhere near me.
I'll tell you what, University Avenue is a crossroads of people.
It is now, yeah.
There is never a lack of activity on that stretch of.
Yeah.
I used to live right over there in the
did you?
apartment building by when Porky's existed.
Oh, I love Porky's.
And yeah, there's just a lot of people. Like that's just a lot of people that live in that area, so you're gonna get some interesting interactions.
Yeah, this guy that Tom saw was an intern at My Talk, though. So he
Probably
just-
was, yeah.
Hey, where talk is fun.
Where talk is fun and FU is fun talk.
He's like, I can't handle another story about Bennifer. Or
What,
whoever it is."
Chris? You're coming for my livelihood now. Okay. Tell us about another train derailment, sir.
She's going after you,
Well,
man.
This is how out of it I am. I said Bennifer, and I don't think that's been a thing for like quite some while, right?
Well, it is again, though, isn't it?
No.
No, because it's Affleck. It's
Affleck, yes.
It's Affleck and J-Lo again now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's Jennifer Lopez. It's Bennifer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still Bennifer 2.0. That's what we call it.
Oh, okay.
so
that's what
still
we call it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that reference was not dated.
No, and then you said it
Nope.
wasn't, so I got nervous for you. But you're just 1.0 behind. You have the old iPhone. You just need the
Yeah, well, this is very typical.
Chris,
typical.
we just got an invitation from Bennifer to come and stay at their house with the 25 bedrooms and bathrooms.
I'd go. I'd try that. I'd see what's up.
25 bedroom house. That's a big
I could
house.
use every
man.
one of those bathrooms.
Just walking along. I have to pee again. I understand that completely. There's no question about it. So, any other big items in the news we should know about?
A little bit Powerball obviously is a huge
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
and
What is it,
it's
900?
It's going to roll over to be over $1 billion.
Today?
The next drawing will be tomorrow, I
Oh,
believe.
tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. But the Mega Millions is tonight. And what's that one at? It's at a measly $640 million.
So, I have a question for all three of you. Am I stupid because I don't play those games?
No, I feel like it's just a game for dumb people. That just you are not putting your don't. There was a guy, and the reason why I bring this up is there was a guy who was displaced from Hurricane Katrina, and he was living in like a shelter. Him and his wife were living in a shelter, and he won $3 million on the lottery. And everybody's outlook on this was their perception was, well, look at that. Great things happen to people who just good things happen to good people. I was like, that guy is a menace, and his family should boot him out.
Right.
Because you don't have a pot to piss in, but you're playing the lottery.
Yeah.
You were
Well-
displaced by a hurricane, and yet you decide to spend your money on the state's way to get more money out of you. Like, what were you doing? And everyone's like, well, that's not. It's supposed to be a good thing. It's supposed to help him. I'm like, I bet if you find that guy in 3 years, he's going to be flat broke again. Absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
And where
Yeah.
is that?
That was he was out of it was with Hurricane Katrina, and I believe he was
in New
staying at a shelter in Ohio.
Oh, it was up in Ohio. Okay.
Where him and his wife ended up. I could be wrong, but I thought that's where he ended up. And instead of, working hard to get a house back or to recoup his losses, he's playing the lottery. Gross.
I'm with you. That's
That sad story for that one for me, Hurricane Katrina, is when I had to watch film of Fats Domino getting into a rowboat.
Oh, sure.
It's like, I love Fats Domino. Don't be drowning him. Let's go. This time I'm walking to New Orleans. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Good song.
Magnificent song. So we got that covered. I think, I don't know. Well, should I not play the lottery? I'm not a big gambler.
Any financial, we do the story. I don't know how long have I been in news? 25 years. Every time there's a big lottery, it's like, well, the financial experts say you'd be better off investing that $2 and blah 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 blah.
Yes.
But to Rudy's point, I think it comes down to if you've got the money to, I got a couple extra bucks. I'm getting gas. What the hell? What can it hurt? But when you're taking your last $4 out of your account, or you're out, begging for $4 on the street to have to go and buy the lottery tickets, that is sad. And that, I think that,
luckily for me, just the fact that I've never done it is the reason I'll never do it. How you have that anxiety of if you're going to say the wrong thing, if you've never bought a pack of cigarettes before and you're finally 18, you're like, how do you, Camel Lights in a pack, please? The part of me that has the social anxiety of I'll say, Power, can you pick the number?
We'll take a Powerade.
I'll take a Power to go, please. Bye. I'm so sorry if I offended you. Whoa. And I'd get back in my car immediately. So that's the barrier that will keep me from buying. Also, do you have to get all the numbers right on this one?
Mm-hmm. You can win the big one, yeah.
But can you get smaller amounts to win?
You could win a smaller amount.
All right, maybe I'll try then, because I feel like you can get 2 or 3 out of the numbers, and you get
No, I think it's more than that. Isn't it 4 or 5?
You got to get all 5 numbers plus the Powerball to win the Powerball.
The big one.
Yeah.
But again, you can get halvesies and get a couple hundred.
Yeah, I think there were 3 winners in the drawing, the last drawing, and they all won $1 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how you get by with that.
I'm sure there's a how-to I could watch, YouTube. This is how you order a Powerball.
The whole gambling thing, I'm just having a big talk with my just graduated young lad who's heading to college in a couple of weeks. And he and his buddies, one of his buddies apparently has been going to the casino quite a lot. And because they're 18.
Yeah.
And he's like, blackjack's so easy. I just won $60. And I'm like, dude, don't ever go back.
It's never luck.
If you can end up, I said, you see that casino that you're standing in? That's built on broken dreams. That's built on you losing money.
We might have to set up a sting for him where we just rob him blind with a game, because he can't start his 18-year-old life with winning $20, because then you're like, oh yeah, I got this.
I think I set him straight on it, and I was like, dude, you just can't go in with if you're going to go into the expectation of having fun, going to a fun place, hanging out, yes, but if you're going there with the expectation you're going to win, don't start going down that road, because it's not a good road to be on.
Yeah.
There is a show on, I don't know what channel it's on one of the streaming channels, but it's a show on the beginnings of Las Vegas. My God, is that fascinating to watch. They got it built, and it was all cowboys. Everybody, cowgirls and cowboys, is all that went to Las Vegas when it first started. I think there was 1 casino there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Don't even remember what it was. But then all of a sudden, the mafia decided maybe we'll get in business out there.
Right.
And to watch that, I don't know if you'd call it a progression or a regression, it's one or the other, but my God, the money they poured into Las Vegas, it's no wonder. They just killed it as far as the money is concerned. Pretty fascinating show. Give it a whirl. I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll have to look for that. It is fascinating, and it's such I don't know, Las Vegas in itself is such what a weird place. I have a friend who's from Las Vegas. I didn't think anybody was actually from Las Vegas.
No, it's not possible. He's lying to you.
Yeah, and he's born and raised, and I feel like his family goes. There's for sure mob ties somewhere. I don't know that for certain, but He describes
Yeah.
some of his relatives, and I'm like, oh.
Well, let me put it this way. Tell you how great it is to live in Vegas. Every single person I know that ever worked at WLUK didn't work there for very long. I don't think it's a great place to live. Like, Louis Anderson liked living there. I will tell you. He loved living in Vegas.
The suburbs, I guess, are beautiful. Mark
yeah.
Wahlberg just
Yeah.
moved out there. I mean, they're saying
Yep.
that you can get, and the
Yep.
taxes are reasonable and all these things. So I think if you just step outside of actual Vegas proper, you can get a great place. But I always lose money in Vegas. But I have 100% return on items. So I'm not a gambler, but I'm a really good shopper.
Ask Alex the first time she walked in to see a show in Las Vegas. I think she was like 19 or 20, something like that. And we were doing the morning show out there. So she might have been younger than that, actually.
Yeah.
And they were doing some show with acrobats going over the top of your head.
Yeah.
And one guy flew over about 2 feet over her head, and he was just about stark naked.
Yeah.
We've got to get out of here. She went into the big one. It was hilarious.
That's really funny.
We got to go right now. I'm leaving right now.
You little Puritan, you.
Puritan Alex, exactly.
She's changed, though. She's quite jaded now.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Chris got to go, unfortunately. We held you a minute too long. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'm good. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Chris.
You too, pal.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Egert, Channel 5 Eyewitness News. Watch him every morning, starting at 4:30, as a matter of fact. You can get that done. We'll take a break here, be right back. Lots more stuff coming up. Of course, top of the hour, Judd Zulgad will join us. Hear his take on how things are going with your... I see the Twins didn't win last night because they're playing a real team now. Yeah, no.
That's rough.
You know what I'm saying. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
Well, look who's here.
Did you miss me, Big Ticket?
Like an open sore Mrs. Carmax, man. Seriously, Doug, where have you been?
I'm running Flagship Ford in Baldwin, Wisconsin.
The fireworks capital, just 15 minutes east of the St. Croix?
That's the place. Anyway, I've come up with some marketing slogans, to put us on the map. Read these and let me know what you think.
Okay. Flagship Ford, drive a lot, save a little. Flagship Ford, you think you hate it now? Wait till you drive it. Flagship Ford, the largest Ford dealership in Baldwin, Wisconsin. Flagship Ford, where the cows are nervous. Flagship Ford, there is no ship, but we actually do literally have a flag.
Awesome, huh? Read this. It's my favorite.
Flagship Ford, white cars for... Oh, hell no, I'm not reading that. You've been day drinking again?
Maybe. The point is, buying a car should be fun and make you giggle a little bit. This is a great store I'm really proud of. You can check us out at flagshipford.com or email me directly at doug@flagshipford.com.
flagshipford.com.
What can Hubbard Interactive do for your business? Let's take a listen and find out what they did for one local company, Steve the Window Guy.
I'm Sally, and I'm a digital brand strategist here at Hubbard Interactive. We met with Melissa from Steve the Window Guy, and she was looking for help with their video advertising strategy. So we helped build a comprehensive plan for streaming TV and YouTube ads.
And Melissa, tell us how it's been getting your message out with help from Hubbard Interactive.
I've been working with them for 5 years, and what I've learned is that they have both the experience and the depth inside their team to help me solve any creative marketing challenge that I've got. So over the years, I've moved from streaming TV to YouTube ads, and now we're moving towards SEO. And I'm loving the results that I'm seeing.
Is there anything else you want business owners out there to know about Hubbard Interactive?
I am so grateful for the entire team at Hubbard Interactive for effortlessly understanding our business and our marketing vision, and then always delivering only the best results.
To find out how our experts can help your business grow, get in touch today at hubbardinteractive.com.
It's time to beat the heat. This is Tom from my friends at Miller Marine and Power Lodge, giving you the keys to a cool lake breeze. With clearance pricing on 2023 luxury pontoons, fishing boats, and more, our dog days of summer won't last, and neither will their inventory. So do both of us a favor and go from floor to shore today with iconic Bennington pontoons and tri-toon packages at doorbuster pricing at Miller Marine in St. Cloud and all Power Lodge locations. Get your first cruise in by sunset. But don't wait on this limited time special. Power Lodge offers competitive financing with no money down. By the way, if you need delivery to your dock, their team of experts has you covered. Discover what thousands of our Minnesota neighbors have and explore our lakes and rivers in your own boat at Elite Savings. I said Elite Savings, darn it. Launch into adventure today at Miller Marine and Power Lodge. Just head to millermarine.com and powerlodge.com to see for yourself. Financing is available on approved credit. Freight and prep are not included in packaging. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Probably should check the weather. Haven't checked that in a while. Partly to mostly sunny, a little warmer with a high of 83. A gorgeous day coming up today. Just beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Sunny and 83. Tonight, partly cloudy, isolated late thunder possible. No big deal, though. 63 for the low. Then Wednesday, very warm and muggy, partial sun. Partly sunny skies and scattered thunderstorms. An isolated severe storm is possible. In this case, that's on Wednesday. That's tomorrow. 88 for the high then. And then, interesting, on Thursday, they put down breezy and cooler. It's going to be 80. I don't know if I call that cool.
They were talking about me.
Oh, that's your
just
cool.
Describing me. I was breezy and cool.
Oh, yeah. Here it says right here, Brittany, who's breezy and cool.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
You're not 80. That's silly.
I think she is.
I mean, I look good for 80, and I love a low expectation.
It has jumped up to 67 now. It's 67 and sunny right now, but should be an absolutely spectacular day, no question about it.
Nice.
Good start to the show. Jeff Leeson was on with us in the first hour, of course. Kristyn Burtt jumps on. Chris Egert. We got Judd Zulgad coming up at the top of the hour. A lot of good people on the show.
I gotta shout this out because people keep emailing me about it. You were mentioning Kyle.
Oh yeah, you do.
And you were thinking of
Kyle.
Yeah, you were thinking of Gomer Pyle.
I was.
Yeah, and we had a few emails on that, so just to stop that.
No,
yeah.
so to stop saying it was Kyle. Yeah, it was because it was Sergeant Carter.
Yes.
Every time the Gomer Pyle would do something wrong, he'd go, Pyle.
Yes, exactly.
What was that guy's name again? The Sergeant Carter on the show. But
like
what was his real name?
Who played him?
Yeah, really good guy, actually. I loved him on that show, as a matter of fact. Quite a talented young man.
Frank Sutton?
Frank Sutton, is that it? Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Oh,
no
wait,
question.
Gomer Pyle is the role that that's Gomer Pyle.
No.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, Frank Sutton is Sergeant Carter.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I read that wrong.
Well, I shouldn't say definitely, but I'm 99% sure that is exactly what it is. No question about it. We already talked about the hottest Jeopardy player of all time, and OnlyFans are hitting on her, and she goes, leave me alone. So that was good to hear.
She said, no, thank you.
So went through that. By the way, do you guys know how, Morse code?
No.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know how to decipher it and all that?
No.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I just ran down the hall to, pee a little bit.
Yeah, take care of some business.
I don't know who was in the stall, but they were sending a message to someone. Because honest to God, the whole 5 minutes I was in there was like...
So mature. You are so mature.
I was like, what? Why don't you just let it all out?
Because when somebody comes in, you want to stop.
You bind up a little bit?
You want to just stop. You want everything to not be happening.
Well, everybody poops. Oh, Jesus, sorry. See, there you go. Right there. Everybody does it. Why would you be embarrassed by that thing?
Because you just don't. I don't want to do it in front of other people.
Why not?
Yeah, I just don't. Okay.
What? Do a morning show?
I mean, I obviously.
Thank you very much. Great.
Obviously the way I'm performing would convey that no, I don't want.
Oh God, here we go. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but today is one of those days I just cannot clear my throat.
Fine.
This thing has got. I've had it for like 17 days now. Enough.
Yeah.
Every generation has nostalgia that the newer generations are totally missing out on, like how boomers would walk 10 miles to school in 2 feet of snow, barefoot, uphill both ways. That was before boomers. That was our parents.
That was what they'd always say to you?
That was the greatest generation. When I walked to school 10 miles.
Are you technically a boomer?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, absolutely. And then the greatest generation, I think they took that from Tom Brokaw, but it is true. You got to give them the tip of the cap for greatest generation because they saved the world from the Nazis, so that was good.
I have done nothing to that sort, so I guess we'll give it to them.
You let the Nazis come just trample all over us.
Exactly.
It was unbelievable. But yeah, there's a thread on social media where millennials and Gen X are talking about. Now, what would you? Okay, first of all, Rudy, what are you?
I am literally on the cusp of Gen X and millennial.
Well, you are.
I'm right there. Yeah, I'm just a couple months away from it.
What is Gen X now? What's that?
So Gen X was, I believe, like 75 in past. You were born in 1975 or older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, millennial is, I believe, 1980. I could be wrong.
So
on those
75
dates.
to 80, and then
Yeah.
80 from then on.
And it's not specific either. So like a
Oh,
rough
okay.
estimate, it's sometimes kind of where you sit better because like
Yeah.
like
okay.
there's tendencies that Rudy's have where I go, you're pure millennial, but then there's a part of me that goes, no, you're feeling more Gen Z today.
Gen Z,
I mean Gen X. Yeah.
I always say like I'm half millennial, half Gen X, and people go, "When's the cutoff?" And I'm like, I don't know. My millennial is too lazy to look it up.
There you go.
I mean, and you can find anything that would. You can Google it. It's all over the board, but they say like around 1980 is the cutoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, what are my tendencies that make me a millennial in your eyes?
There's times where you go, something is like, well, first off, you're pretty good with computers, and that's impressive, and you're accepting of new technology. That's very millennial. Sometimes you're very rational about things in a pragmatic way that feels very millennial.
Oh, okay.
Millennials are pragmatic.
I think so. I think we get a bad
here we
rap
go.
for being like selfish.
I knew she was going to say, well, we.
I'm a millennial through
I know
and
you
through.
are.
And like, if I want to quit a job, I'll quit a job.
Well, everybody should do that.
I'm selfish in a way that's like you kind of feel forced to be because otherwise you're like, who am I doing this for?
Now, I'm glad I asked that question because there's a thread on social media where millennials and Gen X are talking about the things from their childhood that Gen Z never got to experience, and now Gen Z is the one after you guys.
Correct, yes.
Okay, and that would be what, from like 85, 90 on, something like that?
Yeah. They say the cut-up's around 96-ish. So
96, okay. So here I guess they're talking about things from their childhood that Gen Z never got to experience. A few highlights: not having all your screw-ups forever uploaded to the internet. Yeah, that was nice, actually. I like that part of it.
Well, you got to like, if you wanted to dance in public or be silly, you could, and you knew you
Yeah.
weren't going to be on the internet the next day.
Right. Parents that let their kids run free. Well, we can't do that anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Musical involvement. Spotify has made everything so available that it's destroyed a sense of connection. When you were only buying a new few CDs every year, you got to know those albums inside and out. I think that's a very good point.
That is
to make.
true.
You really miss out on that one deep cut on that album
Yeah,
that was
yep.
it was your song that nobody else knew because they
Yep.
just knew the one or two hits from the album, but there was something about that song that was your song.
Well, yeah, if you brought one CD somewhere, you end up listening to the whole thing. Like I remember Tragic Kingdom for No Doubt. I listened to that thing through and through. I love that. I also miss going to things to buy a CD. You know what I mean? Like there'd be big events when a CD you really want, and you'd meet other people in line, and that was super exciting.
There you have it. Oh, I love this. Similarly, checking the TV guide.
I would never.
Jesus. How long has it been since the TV guide's been around?
I remember they used to write up a little synopsis on every Simpsons episode
Yes,
too.
indeed.
And I just always found myself reading that and the cheap paper it would be in and everything.
Guy who owned the TV guide, who was his best friend?
No idea.
Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
They always used to talk about the TV guide during the Reagan administration because his best buddy owned it. I can't remember his name, though. It was like Waxenberg or something like that.
And even just in the normal paper, every night there was a schedule of what was on
Yep.
TV that night.
That's right, exactly. Getting excited about a show or a movie that'd be on in a week. Having everything on demand ruins that. I don't know that it ruins it. It makes it better, don't you think?
Well, some shows still do you have to wait a week. I mean,
Oh,
I
they
would
do?
say the
Okay.
one that does it still the best is HBO Max, or AKA Max now. But they have shows that people really want to watch Sunday night still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I could see that. Just got a few of them left because we got Judd coming up in just about a minute or two. The excitement of getting back developed film.
Yeah.
I never was excited about that. I've never been a big camera guy.
I remember that and how exciting it would be.
I don't even know what this is. AOL Instant Messenger. What the hell is that?
AIM was usually
Yeah.
the free version, and you'd pick out your screen name like Bad Girl 42.
Oh, God.
And or like girl spelled out crazy
Yeah.
because that was taken. And you'd see your friends all signed in, and there's that one guy you have a crush on, and randomly you'd be like, "Hey, what are you up to?" And then you'd hear the slamming door because you'd leave. You would quickly get off.
well. That's nice.
Yeah.
Parents not having HD security cameras. Well, you need security cameras now, not for your kids, but for everybody else.
Yeah, but think about, I used to sneak out all the time, and now you could never if you've got the door ring
no.
cam and all
No.
the things.
This is the one, that I do kind of miss, I got to be honest with you, because Blockbuster, browsing the video rental store.
Oh.
I did love doing it, especially with Andy and Alex.
Did they fight about it, or did you guys just buy 2 videos?
He's got 2 videos.
Yeah, we would fight tooth and nail. We'd have to each bring our thing and then do a almost PowerPoint without the PowerPoint presentation of why this is the movie to pick.
Yep.
Did you guys usually did you and Jen have to figure out together, or?
Yeah, because there was never going to be enough money to get 2
I know.
rentals. What?
It was always-
Heaven forbid. But yeah, we used to pick once a week. The family would go, and it kind of rotated who got to pick the movie. And the first time I got a chance to pick the movie, I picked Kevin Smith's Clerks. And we got 6 minutes in, and both my mom and stepdad stood up out of the living room and said, "We've had enough." And then I watched that movie 11 times before we brought it back the next day, and I was never allowed to pick the movies ever again.
Oh,
that was a great movie,
isn't it? Though I know it's great. I have a signed poster it hangs in my bar in my basement, and I love it. It's my prized possession. And my parents were like, "This is flaming garbage."
I would always try to present a video game and be like, "We can play all together." They're like, "Brittany, we're never going to choose that."
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember as a family one time, we picked how Stella got her groove back.
Oh, God.
And I remember sitting here being like, and my mom was like, "Brittany, get out of the room." And I was like, "I will show myself out," because it was hot and heavy.
Get out.
Brittany, you're out of here.
Just 2 more quick ones. Real actual boredom. You were forced to be creative, learning instruments, drawing and painting, and writing terrible teenage poetry. Yeah, because the world's not very boring anymore. That's true.
No.
And finally, not being connected to everyone on social media, for better and worse, and being able to disconnect in general.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that anyway. I'm not on social media.
It's harder now.
Even though it says that I am on social media, I'm not.
But even just having a phone makes you more connected. You used to just be able to get in your car, live your life, and then deal with messages when I come to work. But now it's like, "We need you now. We need you now." Oh my God.
And I tell you what, Judd's going to come on, and I can tell Judd flat out, it's much, much easier now to give everybody on social media and, on the internet in general, all my banking information so they don't have to look it up. I can just give it to them, How many times a day does somebody ask you for your banking information?
They ask nicely, though, so,
Yes.
you do it, right?
Yes, they do.
If you're nice about it, you can have, routing numbers and banking information and that type of thing. So, that's probably, you're probably asked 3 times a day for that.
Oh, I am much more than that even, and I don't know what the hell I must have. Well, I do know that I won't say which card it is because there's no reason for it, but I literally started checking back after this all started. The people trying to get your banking information, your card information, all that stuff. I went back, and there was a card. No reason to tell you which one it was, but there was a guy that took $5 out of my card every week for about 3 years, and nobody knew he was doing it.
Dang.
Isn't that amazing?
The long con, eh?
So imagine if he did that to 1,000 people.
Yeah. Or even just you. That's enough right there.
$5?
$20 a month?
Yeah, $20 a month. But if he did it to 1,000 people, that's $20,000 a month, man. That's a lot of money.
Almost $300.
Yeah.
$250 or so a year. That's not bad.
But
just
I will
for
tell you
extra money.
I will tell you what, because they didn't catch it, because it is their job to catch that stuff too, not just you.
Yeah.
They repaid all that money to me.
Yeah.
The card company did. So that was great. I thought it was wonderful. But be careful.
Yeah.
I was going to say, one of the things that people don't realize is with a debit card, if you have somebody steal that and they take money out of your account, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
Credit cards, that's the way to go. I tell everybody, find a card that has all of the perks that you want, whether you want airline miles, whether you want to get a blender, whatever it might be.
Right.
Find a credit card that will give you points. That way you get free stuff on top of spending money. And then if something were to happen, most of the time, about 97% of all credit cards have where you don't have to pay if somebody were to steal your information.
I'll tell you who does pay: the businesses that you bought from.
Yep.
Because the credit card company will come after them, even if you're a small business. Because I worked for a little shoe place called Schuster's, and a guy.
Schuster's.
Yeah. A lot of German shoes,
I remember Schuler's.
Yep. It's not Schuler's. This was Schuster's.
Schuster.
And it was we had 4 employees. This guy here in town owned it. So a guy used a fake credit card over the phone to get a whole run of shoes.
Sure.
And we sent him to California, whatever. And the person working was like, all right, whatever. Pretty naive person who did this, but, whatever. And then the credit card company said, hey, company, you didn't do your due diligence. We're getting the money from you, and you're not getting the product back. So the customer whose card was stolen gets the money back, and the person who stole the card gets the product, all the shoes, and then the small company is just out. Like, no, we just lost the money.
See, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. It just never happens to great people like, sports reporters.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's not true. This guy was part of the, if you recall, it's probably like 5 years ago now, the whole Target thing. So Target got.
Oh, yeah.
Target had a massive breach. Well, guess what? One day our card was declined because we had so much withdrawn that day or spent that day, and it was part of the Target thing. I think I actually, working with the bank, I think we did get that back though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it.
But yes. And so the bank was good about it, but you talk about a pain in the ass.
I know.
Just a pain in the ass.
And that's what they count on, the fact that it's such a pain in the ass, you'll just ignore it and give them $5 a month anyway. I mean, some of these people just won't do anything about it, and they get that money for the rest of the time, I guess. I don't know. And again, if you got 1,000 people doing that, $5,000 a month's pretty good.
So was this some type of fraud, Tom, or was
it
this like?
It was supposed to be like a magazine subscription. They listed it as.
Okay.
So it was a fake magazine subscription.
Oh, well then, yeah, they probably did it from thousands of people.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. So it was a very orchestrated, sort of savvy, because it's $5. $5, you're not going to immediately say, "Oh my God, what's going on with $5 being gone?"
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Those are the guys, the men and women who make all the money, are the ones who take little by little instead of going for the big score, because little by little, I didn't even notice it was happening, to tell you the truth. No,
$5 you wouldn't.
No, you just don't even know. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just pay my bill. It's $5, whatever. So yeah, be careful with all that whole situation. Another thing, I want to tell you something. I might start doing Karnak again. Remember Karnak when Johnny Carson used to do Karnak?
Oh God, yeah.
The Magnificent. He could tell the future and all that stuff. I'm going to get that big turban and the whole deal, because I don't know how I did this, but I predicted that the Twins wouldn't win last night.
Oh, then you've got to bring it back, because if you can see into the future like that, Tom Barnard, you are unbelievable.
You just knew they had no chance of winning, none.
Oh my God, this is, and I love the text you sent me. I think it was on Sunday, saying, so they won Friday and Saturday, and I didn't watch, and I'm starting to watch on Sunday, and they're losing. It's me, and I said, Friday and Saturday were two of the most painful baseball games.
Yes.
And now they did win those, and they did sweep ultimately.
Yes.
But yeah, I said on our show with Phil and Declan yesterday, my exact words were, let's see how they do against Seattle, which isn't a great team, but they can pitch. Oakland is so bad.
Yeah.
And so hard to watch that I cannot put a lot of stock in beating that team. And of course, last night they went in, took a lead. Sonny Gray melted down.
Yep.
What's going on with the starting pitching now? Lopez on Saturday puked up a 6-0 lead last night. What the hell's going on now?
It's very, very frustrating. And I will tell you one thing, though. I think it was the Star Tribune this morning I was looking at online, and they're starting to ask a question: is it time to get rid of Buxton? Is his career over?
I'm very concerned.
Me too.
Now he's in the second year, if I'm not mistaken, of a 7-year contract.
Oh,
there's a complete no trade clause, so he can't he can't be traded.
Oh, God.
But here's my concern, and they were talking about this on Fox Sports 1 did a national telecast last night. But here's a guy with a bad knee, a bad hip, a bad back, and he's 27, 28 years old.
Yep.
I am very concerned that something's really wrong here, and that they keep playing him too, which is driving me crazy.
Right. But yeah, the exact point this morning that I saw in the Star Tribune was it's time to think about maybe putting him out to pasture. They got to pay him anyway, so that's going to be a problem. But the guy, what is he now, like 1 for 29 in his last 29, 30 appearances?
Oh, it's terrible. He went into on Sunday he dropped below 200 for the season. He dropped to 199, and last night went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. I mean, and what kills me is he's hitting third still.
I know. Why is he?
I don't know. Which gets back to your question, but it goes beyond that. Is what the hell's Rocco doing? Is it time? I mean, this is remarkable. They've got some guys that are starting to hit now, and then Buxton's clogging the drain of the lineup every time he comes up, and he's hitting third. It drives me nuts.
I couldn't agree more. I think maybe at the end of this season, if this continues, and I think it will continue, they're going to have to pretty much clean house over there. They're going to have to. You can't go through a season like this. I mean, you're in first place in the worst division in baseball. I understand that. Right. But it's not going to get you anywhere. I tried. I didn't watch the game last night because I knew they were going to lose. I didn't even bother to watch.
Well, and it was sort of a fraudulent one-run game because they were down 7-3 in the top of the ninth with 2 outs, and I think down to their last strike. And of course, Kepler, who doesn't get a hit when it matters, hits a 3-run homer. So you're like, oh, it's 7-6, not so bad. But Kepler and Buxton just continue to play every day, and I, for the life of me, don't get it.
I don't either. All these people, I just don't understand. Joey Gallo can't hit. He can hit a home run. That's all he can do.
And that's what he did last night, and that's what he does occasionally, but not enough.
Yep. There's so many people on that team that shouldn't be on that team. It's unbelievable. And it breaks my heart because I am a huge Twins fan.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun. It's great when they're good. No, nobody wants them to not be fun to watch. Yep. That's the thing. Yep. We all want them to be fun to watch. We all want them to be good. And I know that they're in first place, but I would argue that there has never been less excitement for a first place team, deservedly so, at least in this town, than the Twins right now.
Yes, indeed. I did not watch this quarterback thing, but they're promoting the hell out of it on streaming. Did you watch that?
Yes, I binged it all in a very sick way last Wednesday. Eight episodes in one day. It's interesting. Is
it really?
It's league friendly, so they don't give you a lot of secrets, but you get a lot of really good behind the scenes stuff, which is fun to see. It's sort of a window into the type of stuff that as fans in sports we don't see.
Why would they pick our quarterback to be part of that, though? I don't get that.
So I think what they were going after is this. I think they were going after, and this was the first one. It was done by the league and then Omaha Productions, which is Peyton Manning's company.
Yeah.
I think what they were after was a star, which, Patrick Mahomes is great.
Yep.
His old man was not as a pitcher for the Twins, but he is fantastic.
That's exactly right.
What the hell happened there?
Another Pat Mahomes.
I think they picked Kirk because Kirk is a very good middle-of-the-road type of quarterback. Because the third guy was, at the time, Marcus Mariota, who was a really high draft pick at Tennessee.
Yep.
And he spent last year before essentially quitting the team with the Falcons. So I think what they wanted was the juxtaposition of 3 guys in very different places. So it wasn't that I think they loved Kirk. I think it was Kirk sort of symbolized that middle tier guy who's good, but certainly not as good as Patrick. And Marcus Mariota was, before he basically walked away from the team because he claimed he was hurt, is about as boring as you can get. So I think that was their, there is nothing there, my man, with him. It was not fun to watch him, but Kirkin was fun.
I was watching it with someone and I made a comment like, Mariota must be Hawaiian for boring. Because he is the most boring guy and I'm so glad that you used that adjective to describe him because that is exactly the word that I used. There's just nothing there. He's not an up guy. He's not a down guy. At least with Aaron Rodgers, he was kind of an ass.
Yeah.
And you kind of expected it. There was a little. I mean, kind of
Kinda?
huge, yeah. But
You're a total ass.
But nonetheless, you still had like there was something behind. Yeah, personality. This guy is a wet blanket. I mean, he's beige curtains.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
Oh.
It is just there's nothing there.
Like forgettable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know. I did not watch it. One thing I will tell you, I think I mentioned this to you before, Judd, that on Christmas vacation, well, no, it was spring vacation. It was one of the two. I don't remember. But Kirk Cousins was sitting about 2 tables away from me at a restaurant down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very big. I thought he'd be a lot bigger than he is. I mean, he's tall, but he's very narrow-shouldered, which
He's
surprised
very
me.
thin. He's
Very
surprisingly thin, I thought.
I couldn't believe how thin he was. Honest to God, he looked like a stick, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but part of that now, Tom, too, is like this whole in sports nutrition thing and all these things. Gone are the days, it feels like, and this is probably not true across the board, but gone are the days of like Joe Cap, who just was a huge guy. But I mean, I don't think he did a lot of, how can I put this, off-season training either.
No, unless it was a fist fight.
Yeah, well, and then he was good about it. Well, and I think he did the curls with beer as well, right?
Oh yes, a lot of
quite
curling.
a few of those.
A lot of curling. There's no question about it.
But yeah, Cousins is not a big look. He is tall.
He's tall,
not.
yes.
He is not a big guy though.
No, I was surprised, literally, honestly. I would say, looking at her right now, that your shoulders are wider than his.
Really?
I'm not kidding you. They
I mean,
are.
I have wide shoulders for a girl,
For a
You
girl.
play quarterback, Brittany.
I'm on it.
Come on.
I'm stepping up. I got this.
It's kind of the QB of the show, don't you think?
I like to think so.
Yeah, I know you like to think so. There's no getting around that. No question about it. I don't know. I look forward to the Vikings coming up as well, but I tried to watch the quarterback thing, but I never turned it on. I don't know. Because I know Pat Mahomes is magnificent, and I'm not a Cousins fan, and the other Mariota. I just didn't care about 2 out of 3 of them, and I already know what Mahomes can do, so there's no reason for me to really watch it.
Yeah, it's just if you like sports, it's a pretty interesting, intriguing peeling back of the curtains. But I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this, as fortunate as he is to have a son who is a future Hall of Fame quarterback, life, I believe, has been difficult on the former twin, Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know, but he's, and I mean, he's older too, but he's not that old. It's not like he's 80 or something like that. But yeah, he has, I think he's had his fun. He looks like a guy who's had a lot of fun.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Weathered. Is that the right word? Is that the correct word? He looks like he enjoyed his playing career, and I don't necessarily mean just on the field.
So do you think he did a lot of 12-ounce girls?
I would guess that is part of the case. Yes.
I heard he's a very, very nice guy. I never met him.
Seemed like a good guy.
I heard he was a really
Seemed like
good
a guy. But again, where was that talent? Where was that? I mean, the kid is unbelievable.
He is. We got to take a very quick break. Be right back, Judd. You got about another 20 minutes with us, or
yes,
15,
most
something
definitely.
like that. All right, we'll be right back. Hi, it's Tom Barnard. My friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales at their Albertville location, just off Interstate 94, would like to extend a special offer going on now through the end of July. God, I'm really sorry that I missed him and his lovely wife on the boat. I was gonna.
Him and Lisa were so fun.
No, he's a great guy. I've not met Lisa, but he's a great guy.
He's obsessed with his dog Riggs.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
of course,
Yep.
I'm like, yes, you and I can hang anytime. I will hold your baby dog like a baby.
There you go. It's for all our Tom Barnard Morning Show listeners here, this special offer going on through the end of July. When you visit the Albertville location, mention that you heard me, Tommy B, tell you about this July-only savings opportunity on travel trailers and pickup cameras. Or campers. I'm talking about pickup campers. Now, you must be a qualified buyer, but here's the really good news. Receive up to $5,000 off the advertised price on all their new in-stock inventory. As always, terms and conditions do apply. Brands include Rockwood by Forest River, Arctic Fox by Northwood Manufacturing, Cirrus by New Camp, and more. Now is a real good time to buy and take your passion on the road with Niemeyer Trailer Sales. You can't just sit around. I said you can't sit around. Did you hear me?
I'm on it.
I'll see my guys and gals at Niemeyer's in Albertville or peruse their current inventory at Niemeyers.com. That's Niemeyers.com. Niemeyers.com. The up to $5,000 off sales event ends July 31st.
Boating season is here, and many of you will be hauling a boat to the lake this summer. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we encourage you to keep yourself and others safe by obeying the laws of the lakes. Keep in mind that children 10 and under are required to wear a life jacket at all times. It's also good to make sure everything on the boat is in working order before heading out into the water. Alcohol causes thousands of boating injuries every year. Remember that the captain is responsible for the crew and cannot be over the legal limit. And please, not only be aware of other boats in the water, but keep an eye out for water skiers, tubers, and jet skiers. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. Please do your part to keep yourself and others safe on the lakes this summer.
You can find Mike Bryant of Bradshaw and Bryant and at MinnesotaPersonalInjury.com. Mike Bryant, seeking justice for the injured.
Working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
There's plenty of thoughts that come into your head when you think the name Killebrew. Of course, there's the Minnesota baseball legend, Harmon, who was responsible for many a favorite memory at the old Met Stadium in Bloomington, and many a baseball that ended up in the stands and in the gloves of adoring fans from his home runs. There's Killebrew Drive, legendary road that connects Highway 77 to the Mall of America, and a day of shopping you'll never forget. My current thoughts for the name Killebrew is fun floats in our kitchen with my kids and grandkids, a cool, refreshing break in between innings at Target or CHS Field. Or maybe a perfect sunset paired with a sweet, frothy beverage after fishing or on your favorite walleye lake. Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Grab a six-pack at a grocery or convenience store near you. I'm Tom Barnard. This spring and summer, enjoy the one Killebrew root beer and cream soda. Gluten and caffeine-free with a generous portion of delicious thrown in. Killebrew, where memories are created and legends are made. On MyPillow's 20-year anniversary with over 80 million pillows sold, Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank each and every one of you by giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. Queen-size MyPillow's regular price is $69.98, now only $19.98 and just $10 more for king size. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts your exact individual needs to help you get the best sleep ever. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to get Mike's amazing offer on the queen-size MyPillow for only $19.98. Enter promo code TOM. In addition to this special anniversary offer on the MyPillows, you will also receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, My Slippers, and so much more. Take advantage of the biggest sale in MyPillow's history. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to take advantage of Mike's special offer on his MyPillow. That's MyPillow.com, promo code TOM. Big mug, huh? It's a big mug, is it? Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry. My headphones aren't working, so I can't respond to that.
Your headphones aren't working?
I'm just acting like that because I don't want to respond to you asking that question.
You big baby. Well, I know. What?
Your head is normal size, sir.
I do have a melon. That is true. There's no
So
question
do I.
about it. Yeah, you
Don't
and I both
sweat
got
it.
melons. That's true.
I got a big head.
I have a listener email.
Ooh, I love these.
From Trevor. He said, they pick Kirk to show you how much suck a whole state will put up with. So, that's from Trevor.
Works.
That, by the way, is Trevor again, folks who love Kirk Cousins. Trevor was the one who weighed in with that.
I loved him because he sucks so much. I don't know that he sucks. He's just not very good. He's very mediocre, I guess is the best way to put it. He can do some things beautifully and other things he just fails miserably.
Like painting. He
Yeah,
can
it's
paint
like
really
painting.
well.
Yes,
it's just not football.
It's a hell of a singer.
Great singer.
Is he a good singer?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, no, he sang for Jesus for many, many years.
When Jesus washed. Did he do that song? I
That
love
might
that
actually be. Do you remember this song that he sang, Judd? Because they have video of him singing on stage. I can't remember the name of the. Yeah, but it was something like that.
Oh, happy day.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't Ministry, Jesus Built My Hot Rod, which I think he would have been able to crush had he done it, but it wasn't.
Jesus built my hot rod.
If he was singing so much for Jesus, couldn't Jesus repay us and him and the Vikings and make these things work?
Exactly.
Come on, Jesus.
Way to go, Jesus. I knew it. Typical.
Typical.
That's one thing I got to tell you very quickly. That's the kind of humor Toots would never put up
I know.
with. Tom, you can do whatever you want, but do not make fun of Jesus.
I know.
Like, okay.
But I
Yes, Mom.
I think Jesus is in on the joke too.
Oh, I think so. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, my mom was the same way though. Yeah, I'd get the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't tempt fate there. That's what her whole thing was. Don't tempt fate. Don't go too far.
I love that one painting, the one with the cross right down the middle, or right down from the left corner to the bottom right corner. And the upper part of that slash as an NFL player on one knee thanking Jesus for scoring a touchdown. And just below that, the little line, there's Jesus with his feet up watching hockey.
I've seen that, yes.
I love that picture.
Yeah.
It's the greatest.
He's like, you're on your own, football.
I don't give a rat's ass about the NFL. I'm watching hockey, man.
Yeah.
Just betting on games
Oh,
left
yeah.
and right.
Would it be legal for Jesus to bet on games? That's not fair.
Well, here's the question. Is there a sports book in the afterlife?
Ooh, there might be.
Yeah, and is there one that only takes fish and loaves?
Yeah, because that's all he's got. It's his currency.
Yeah, it's all he's got.
Well, I can tell you this: if his big concern is hockey, he hates Minnesota. Then.
Well, good point. Yeah, we dropped another one this year, didn't we? Once again, but what are you going to do? So the baseball team's doing what we thought they would do. The football team, what do you think? Do you think the Vikings are going to be any good this year?
So I don't think they're going to win 13 games again because that's a lot.
Yeah.
Now, they do play 17 now, not 16, and this is going to be, I think, the third year of that. But I don't think they're going to win 13 games. But I actually think that they are, as a whole, that they should be improved because the offense was inconsistent as hell. Like they had Kirk Cousins tied a league record with 8 fourth quarter comebacks. Okay. They did that because they basically didn't score in the second and third quarters.
Right.
So I think the offense actually in O'Connell's second year and then Kirk's second year with O'Connell, I think the offense improves. And this is going to sound like I'm being a smart ass, but the defense can't be worse.
That's true. Yeah, that is.
So
true.
I think they're going to be an improved team that probably wins fewer games if that somehow is. If I can torture that to make sense, that's what I think they're going to probably end up doing.
I don't know if it was you or Phil that pointed out that Justin Jefferson named his 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL, and his own quarterback wasn't one of them.
Yeah, and his own quarterback, when asked about it, it's like, yeah, hopefully I make the list next year.
Isn't that amazing? You know, the morning shows in town are all right. There's B, 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 and B, and after you don't even get brought up. That's got to be a problem, man.
You would think that a competitor, but this is why Kirk is weird. Like, I'm sure it bothered him deep down.
Yeah.
Kirk doesn't share a lot of stuff that bugs him, but that being said, too, I actually admire Jefferson a lot for telling the truth because he's right.
Yeah.
Kirk's not a top 5. Like ordinarily, a guy will torture the list to be like, "Well, my guy's on that list," and I appreciate the fact that Jefferson, being a no BS guy, was basically like, "Here's the 5 best."
So did he go with Mahomes first? I assume he did.
Yeah, he had Mahomes. He had his guy Joe Burrow, who he played with in college and won a national championship at LSU. He had Josh Allen. I forget the other two that he.
I don't remember him either.
Did them, but anyway, the thing with him is, he was not going to lie. He was not going to put Kirk on there just to be kind. But it was weird that Kirk was like, "Yeah, okay, hopefully I make that list next year." Didn't make it this year.
Is Justin easy to deal with?
For his position, yes.
Oh, that's what I've heard. That's good to hear.
The wide receiver position has always been just a bunch of very egomaniacs. You know, it's a lot of guys who are sort of out there. Stephon Diggs, when he got here, I thought was really good.
Yep.
And then he became progressively more difficult to deal with. Hopefully Jefferson doesn't go in that direction. But yeah, Justin Jefferson seems, for a guy who is as talented as he is, like a really grounded kid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's good news.
Now the caveat to that, though, that I have to be very, very careful about is this. I'm telling you, dealing with him like coming off the practice field and in the locker room, right?
Yep.
I will always say this. One of my favorite Vikings to cover was Darren Sharper because he seemed like such a good guy.
Right.
And he is now serving multiple jail terms for drugging and raping people. So I'm always very careful to say, we don't know these people at all. So if something happens in the future, it doesn't come back and bite me in the ass. So, you said this guy was a great guy. Yeah, well, guess what? It's not like we really know them.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. You don't really know them. And most people do not really know them.
No, and it's so true. It's like all the monsters out there know how to act like not monsters when they need to. So
I still don't understand the attraction to I'm going to have sex with someone who's knocked out. Oh, boy, that's got to be a ball, huh?
yeah, well, be very thankful that that's not something you can wrap your head around.
Well, I suppose. I mean, where's the thrill in that?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if she's attracted to me or not, but I'm going to just assume that she is. Like, okay, great.
And Darren was a very good-looking guy.
Yeah,
This was not a guy who that's a chip in the brain. I'm glad I can't comprehend.
Yes. No, I think that's a very, very good point. So what else is happening? Anything else good happening in the sports world?
No, it's pretty dead. Besides that, the trade deadline, if I am correct on this, is 2 weeks from today or yesterday in baseball. So we'll see if the Twins either add or subtract. But besides that, training camp starts in late July, and July is the 1 month where it goes pretty quiet, sports-wise.
Yeah, that is true because you got you're in mid-season. Yeah, that's true. No, you're absolutely right about that. I don't know. We'll see how it all works out in the end, but I've been waiting since my brother got home from Vietnam for the Vikings to win a Super Bowl. So, that was...
I didn't know your brother served in Vietnam.
He served 6 years.
He just went there on vacation.
Yeah, he wasn't in the Marine Corps.
Recently. He was recently there fighting.
It was like a week ago, yeah.
Oh, as long as we got time, I'll tell you a very quick story about... Because Terry's 9 years older than me. So we got back from Vietnam. I was, I don't know, I was like 17, maybe something like that. Mm-hmm. And that was back in the days when poor people didn't even have remotes to change the channel on the television. You had to get up and change the channel.
Oh, right? I remember that.
The poor people TV. That's what it was.
We never had a remote growing up.
I know, it's true. So Terry would go, Tom, go change the channel. I'm like, okay. So about 5 times to go and change the channel. He said, Tom, change the channel. I'm like, no. He said, what? And I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to get up constantly and change the channel for you. It's not going to happen. So he starts to get up. So I break for the door.
Yeah, good call.
And lock myself in the bathroom.
Yep.
But somehow, I don't know how it was achieved, but the bathroom door broke in half.
Okay, so.
Whoops. And he
my God.
Oh, and he says to me, you see the door there? And I said, I do. And he goes, you be very, very glad that's not you. I'm like, okay, well.
What channel did you want again? I missed that.
How many more channels can I change?
I'll just stand here. It's fine. Call me remote. I've got your back.
Yeah,
that whole
4, 5, 9, 11, whatever you want. I'm gonna switch right to it.
There was
UHF
2, 4, 5, 9, and 11. That was everything.
And then we got 23, 29 eventually.
Eventually, yes, but not when he got home. It was a whole different deal, no question about it. But you look back at it. I know you just talked about training camp and all the rest of it, but are they ever going to win a Super Bowl? Was it 77 was the last one they were in, 1977?
Yep, against Oakland. Haven't been back since.
It's only, 46 years ago. That's great. That's wonderful.
$7 to get into that Super Bowl.
That's what I heard.
$7. Yeah, my old neighbor had a ticket stub in his wallet he walked around with. He had it laminated. He stuck it in his wallet. He's like, "Can I show you something?" He showed me an old ticket from the Super Bowl. That's how much it cost. $7 to get into a Super Bowl. Could you imagine?
Well, the first 2 did not sell out. I know that. The first 2 Super Bowls didn't sell out.
Correct.
Nobody cared.
How you give your left leg for $7 parking?
Yeah,
that's where you were at. And
$7 parking.
Yeah,
Brittany, are you?
I know. That's what I'm saying. You would give your left leg or firstborn for $7.
It costs $16 to park at a regular season Twins game in the A ramp right now.
Yeah, absolutely it does. But if you take the bus, it's like $3.
Judd, you hear that it wasn't Twilight Zone, it was the other one, One Step Beyond, where this family checks into a hotel and they got a suite, got a 1-bedroom suite. There's a whole sitting area, and there's, it was a suite. It was not just a little crappy hotel room. It was a very beautiful room, all the rest of it. Right. And the wife says to the husband, so do you want to go out and have dinner? He goes, well, we can't, or I don't have any money. She goes, what do you mean you don't have any money? Where'd the money go? And he said, and I quote, do you realize how much this room cost? It was $1.25. I was like, whoa, this is 1961, right?
Sure.
1961, One Step Beyond. $1.25 for a hotel suite.
That quarter was the deal breaker.
Yeah. That 25 cents pushed him over the top. Oh, my God. I mean, that's the one thing about being very, very young, looking back. The things that you could buy for a nickel back then, that was amazing. Looking back now, it's like, you got that for a nickel.
Is there anything more glamorous than having a sitting room in your hotel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. We were looking at, though, yesterday on the family deal, because we took the kids to Scotland when they were young, because we all wanted to go over. So I had never been, and now I've been to Ireland, Scotland, England, most of those places. Italy, we loved, and all the rest of it. But I was shocked because a suite at the Turnberry Hotel, which has one of the great golf courses you will ever play. It's a phenomenal golf. Well, there are a couple of them actually, but we checked, and a nice suite at the Turnberry still only. And I know this sounds like a lot of money, but you have to understand the era we're in is $500. And that's for a suite, not just a standalone room. I was shocked it was that low, because when you're paying $2,000 to fly from here to, Fort Myers, that 2 G's now on some of those flights.
Isn't
like,
that crazy?
Holy Christ.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. A friend of mine just flew down a while back to fly to Fort Myers from Minneapolis. It was $2,000.
And I mean, if you do off season, because I can get pretty cheap flights to Fort Myers because we just go at weird times to visit my parents. But yeah, if you're spring break-esque, I would say under 1,000, but you're talking about like a group of people, right? Or 2 people or 3 people.
Yeah, I mean, I was amazed that suite wasn't more than it was.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it is Scotland. They have a different economy than we do and all the rest of it, no question about it. But if you guys have never been, you should go to Scotland. Some of the Ireland, Scotland, England, Italy, Northern Italy particularly.
Yeah.
Some of the most friendly people on earth. But my favorite is still the golf course at Villa d'Este. Up on the wall, Dominic Vincenzo, or whatever his name was. This is a hard, hilly golf course, par 72, and Dominic, course record, 56. Okay.
Whoa.
Wow.
56. And I said, Franco, that's the manager. Franco, what's that all about? He goes, Tom, don't tell anybody I told you this, but if anybody ever shoot a 55, that will be a 54.
I'll just have to get someone in to change the number.
Just change the number, because he ain't ever given up the championship because of how he got there in the first place. I'm sure the guy went out and shot like a $105 and went, nah, put it down at 55.
Good for him. That's a lot of pull right there.
A little mafia action, but other than that,
you know what? It happens.
It does, but it's still pretty safe to travel in Western Europe, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, my sister and brother-in-law are headed to, I think, like Switzerland and Rome, and they're doing the whole thing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, like a 10. Yeah, they're all about it. So yeah, from what I understand, it seems like it's safe. Yeah.
Is she going to go to Lake Lucerne?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is. I don't know. And all I know is that they've been planning this thing forever now, and I don't know. I feel like my sister always, she says stuff like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. And I'm like, this is your 4th time to Europe, okay? This is not a once-in-a-lifetimer, okay?
Also, I literally heard Jen say, the Disney was a 4-year planning trip, and then Taylor Swift was in the making for 4 years kind of thing. And I want to be like, oh, my God, you have a lot of pending things.
A lot of pending.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
know.
guys, got to run, but
Yes,
I'll
sir.
talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Bye, Judd.
Thanks very
Love
much,
you.
Judd.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, she just said she loved you. Did you hear that?
That's why he's going to run away quick.
Oh, that's why he shut it off already.
He's like, I'm out.
I'm out of here.
It's like that AOL Instant Messenger, just gone.
AOL Instant Messenger, that was a while back.
Yeah, I know.
That's the one we were just talking about?
Yeah.
So when was that? In the
When I was-
70s or something?
When I was in high school, that was
Yeah,
big.
it was mid-90s.
Mid-90s.
Early to mid-90s.
Yeah, even like the early 2000s, that was a big staple.
Yeah.
How's that going? Is there, because I remember when that first broke.
AOL, I don't know how they're doing because I only know I think I know two people with an AOL, and one of them is Mordal. I know Mordal has an AOL account
He
still.
does?
I think he
Doesn't
has an
surprise
AOL.
me, actually.
I know, I think he has an AOL email still, and then one other person.
How's he doing?
I don't know, I should check in on him. I've
Because his
talked
health
to him in a
wasn't great
while.
last time I heard.
Yeah.
I always liked working with him. I thought he was, he's a crabby bastard. There's no getting around that. Did you ever work with him?
I haven't. I've seen him live, but I've never worked with him, no.
Actually, a really great guy, but he's a grumpy son
Sure.
of a bitch. Oh, my God, is he grumpy.
Yeah, but when he likes you,
Yeah.
he's like, comes in and he'll bring donuts in all the time and
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a very
and
giving guy.
Yeah, I love Mordal.
I tell you one thing about Mordal, though. You're lucky probably you never did work with him, because anybody made one little mistake, they would hear about it, and you could hear them hearing about it from sitting in the audience. He did not like people making mistakes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, Mordal hated that.
Yeah, I got to go to his stand-up. It was in that one place that was in Lilydale.
The joke joint.
Was that?
Joke
Yes,
Joint. God,
yes.
Joke Joint. I haven't heard that in a while. That's not still around.
No. Ken and they all moved down to Houston, and then that club
Oh.
closed as well.
Okay.
But it was one of those cool things where when I was buying tickets, it was like, do you want to pay $2 extra for VIP? And I was like, heck yeah. Like, I never get like a little upgrade like that.
Right.
Like, seems like a no-brainer. Did not put together, of course, the fact that $2 extra would get me a half inch from the stage. And you know what it's like when somebody you know
Yeah, that's
is
true.
performing, like you
Yes.
know very well. You're like, I should not have said, I'm so sorry. Like, this is not the spot. This is not the move. I would like to formally, I'm thinking like we'll just get like nicer chairs in the back. But nope, I was like a half inch from the stage, and then had to like, as like a stage mom, was just like, everything,
Yay,
you know,
everything's-
like
that's
you're
funny.
You're doing great. Great job. That was a great joke. Like I enjoyed myself immensely, but I found myself going, this was a mistake.
God, that's one thing about knowing a lot of people from doing the morning show all those years and all that stuff, and then going to see them.
Yes.
Because if you're in the audience and somebody starts heckling them, you get this feeling like, I got to go over and stop that guy.
Oh,
Which they don't want you doing, obviously.
I feel like I would definitely have to fist fight somebody if I knew
Absolutely.
somebody on stage. It was funny because over the 4th that week, the week of the 4th that we were off, Rudy was doing a show close by, and Gogo had been sick. We barely left the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Justin, we should go to this. And we were both like, yeah, we should totally go to this. And I was like, I don't know. The idea of like seeing Rudy live, like we'd have to like either A, text him that we're going, or
Yeah,
B, like
yeah.
hide in the back. Because I was like, I know Rudy too well to sit anywhere near.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what is your protocol for your friends going?
I would prefer that they sat in the back.
Yeah, and like, should
Yeah.
they text you that they're going, or just like show up?
To me, it doesn't matter if
Okay.
I know you're in the crowd or not. Doesn't matter to me. I just don't want you close.
Same.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Because first off, some of these jokes you've probably already heard.
Yeah.
They may have come to a show, or maybe I've just said it on the show at some point. But the other part is I want it organically for somebody I don't know to have a
Yeah.
good experience
Yeah.
and enjoy that joke for the first time. Yeah. Because my friends there, then I don't know. And I got a bunch of loudmouth friends,
Yeah.
who think it's funny to come to a show and then yell stuff. And it's like, I get that you and I know each other, but everyone else thinks you're an
Totally.
asshole that doesn't know that I know you. So
And, like,
stop it.
Yeah,
I would
that's right.
never. I
That's
would
right.
never do that. I would have like. I was more of along the protocol because I trust me. Like, I know you too well where I wouldn't want to sit close. It's just too like, yep, that person I know. Like, and I know there's like a stage persona that you have to like tap
Yeah.
into. But my big thing was like, do we tell him or do we not? Because like, it'd also be weird if you're like kind of scanning the room and then you're like, oh, there's somebody I know.
That has happened before. You look out in the crowd and you're like, oh wow, didn't know that person was here, and then
Yeah.
you stumble your words and
Yeah.
then you're in your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
We couldn't get a babysitter, so you're lucky. So we didn't even have to hit that dilemma. But trust me, we're one of these days, because it would be super fun to see your show.
Are we going to be seeing people like Andy Kindler and Bobby Slayton and people like that coming back to town anytime soon?
I don't think so.
It's just not going to happen anymore, is it?
I think a lot of and I don't want to just put him in that category as an older comic, but I think guys like Andy Kindler have been around for a long time. After COVID, those guys don't want to travel anymore.
That's what I hear,
It's too
yeah.
much. It got to be too much. And then there was, it's just, It's definitely becoming a younger man's game because
I could see that. Yeah.
You know, back in the day, it was if you wanted to do this, you went out, you worked on your craft, then you got management, and then they helped you out with promotion and blah blah blah. Now it's all on you.
Yeah.
You have to be so motivated to cut clips, to go out, to record your sets, to keep writing, to do the posters, to promote the shows. You have to. It's like a small business. That's really what it is.
But not having them come into the studio every Friday, every Thursday, Friday. I mean, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was everybody.
Yeah, and we're, it's slowly kind of getting there. I think the biggest thing for us is to stay consistent with it, like having comics that come in. Because I was just talking to Patrick Strait from Minnesota Comedy, who's going to be with us next Tuesday, and he's been getting a lot of the in-studio comics. And we got Lori Kilmartin coming in on Thursday, I believe,
her.
who is
She's
great, isn't she?
She's a nice person, too.
Super nice, very funny. She'll be in studio on Thursday because she's going to be at Acme this week. But, and even when Lori comes in, she had asked, is it okay if I wear a mask? I said, if you'd like.
If you want,
I said, I hope you are okay with us not wearing one. And she said, yeah, absolutely, not a problem. You guys don't have to. I just feel more comfortable. And I said, whatever makes you feel more comfortable to put out your best performance, absolutely. Yeah. But for a lot of these comics, they just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you ever see me wearing a mask, I just robbed a bank. So there you go. That's that deal. I mean, one thing I will tell you about that I hold dearly is Andy, Alex, my wife, made friendships with great people, actors, comedians, all those people. They all used to come in. Like Andy and Gilbert Gottfried got to be pretty good friends. And when Gilbert died, it was not easy on Andy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So that's part of having him come in for the family show that part was very, very sad when all of those people, Louis and all those people died at this.
I know.
It was all within 1 year, wasn't it, pretty much?
I think it was all within like 5 to 6 months.
Yeah,
it was
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's like Louis and then Bob Saget.
Great guy, Bob Saget. He was another one. Jeff Cesario hasn't even been in town. What the hell's Cesario? Let's go.
Yeah, speaking of, I just listened to Cesario's first record the other day. I love it. He's one of the best. And I've reached out to that guy, and I'm like, hey, because I know he lives in Los Angeles, and he's got a young daughter.
Yes, he does.
Very young. I think his daughter, his Jeff is in his like mid-60s, upper 60s, and he's got a daughter who's like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think he probably early to mid-60s. Well, maybe you're right, though.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
So I don't know, but I sent him a line and just said, anytime you want to come back to town, if you're hanging out with family, we'd love to have you in. We're all big fans.
Did he respond?
He hasn't yet, no.
Cesario, you pain in the ass. Cesario, huh? That's all I've got to say to him.
Stick to the tumbling.
Stick to the tumbling. And you know what's funny about that? Most people younger than the two of you have no idea what tumbling even is.
Yeah, right. Tumbling
they
is,
have no clue what tumbling is. Well, you got family involved in that, though, all that athletics and all that bullshit.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have a kid, you sign them up for tumbling.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, but they don't even know. Stick to the tumbling. What does he mean? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Totally.
All right, we do have to take a break. Come back. We'll wrap it up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust, who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
So, if you've been following my progress with MinnesotaFatLoss.com, I've lost right at 27 pounds, and you can too with the MMFatLoss.com summer special, $200 off, now only through July 30th. I'm going into my maintenance phase. I can't recommend this program any higher. Of course, any fat loss program is going to take some effort, but honestly, with MNFatLoss.com comes secret to fat loss. This program was way easier than I expected. The maintenance program allows me to add back in some more of the foods I love and still maintain my weight loss. You will absolutely be able to lose weight like I've done and save $200 with their summer special. $200 off now through July 30th. If you want to find out the secret to losing 20 to 30 pounds in just 8 weeks, just like I'm doing, that's about a pound of fat every day. No exercise required. To schedule your free consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. That's mnfatloss.com. Results may vary. Be sure to tell the team at mnfatloss.com that Tom Barnard sent you. Hi, this is Tom Barnard. My friends at Niemeyer Trailer Sales at their Albertville location just off Interstate 94 would like to extend a special offer going on now through the end of July. It's for all our Tom Barnard Morning Show listeners. When you visit their Albertville location, mention that you heard me, Tommy B., I'll tell you about this July-only savings opportunity on travel trailers and pickup campers. Now, you must be a qualified buyer, but here's the really good news. Receive up to $5,000 off the advertised price on all their new in-stock inventory. As always, terms and conditions do apply. Brands include Rockwood by Forest River, Arctic Fox by Northwood Manufacturing, Cirrus by New Camp, and more. Now is a real good time to buy and take your passion on the road with Niemeyer Trailer Sales. You can't just sit around. See my guys and gals at Niemeyer's in Albertville or peruse their current inventory at Niemeyers.com. That's Niemeyers.com. Niemeyers.com. The Up to the $5,000 off sales event ends July 31st. We are back to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. If you ask someone what state had the worst drivers, the answer would be easy. The state that they're driving in right now. That's probably true.
I know, right?
Because I would say Minnesota.
I wouldn't.
Because that's where I do most of my driving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Would I say Minnesota? I mean,
You don't know if you would or not.
I don't know.
The tailgating here has gotten horrible.
I know you were talking about that. I would say sometimes we don't know rules that we don't deal with a lot. Like they just started out adding roundabouts everywhere.
Oh, they're everywhere now, yeah.
And I don't think most Minnesotans know how to take on a roundabout.
No, they don't. You're right.
And like me included when we first started getting them. And now we've got a bunch near us where I'm like, okay, I can feel this out, go with the flow. But there's a lot of times in those roundabouts you have to know that like people might be jumping in at any time.
Well, I like too, as you're waiting to get on, the person who's coming around it, there's no indication if they're going to exit or they're going to continue on.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of weird things. I love roundabouts though.
I think there is a time and place for them, but then there are situations where you go, why did you put a roundabout
Well,
there?
maybe, yeah, that's probably true.
This just didn't need it.
Okay, so for a more scientific answer, not the state you're driving in right now, more scientific answer, Consumer Affairs analyzed data. Because I have not seen them yet, what would you say are the worst states for driving?
I've driven in quite a few states, so I would say Washington State is pretty bad.
Okay.
I really feel like Iowa could probably step it up a little bit in the driving department. They're not great. And then Alabama. I think Alabama was probably the worst state. I think just because,
really?
well, the roads are garbage there.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, this will be, I don't want to piss anyone off, but Montana, because sometimes they're just accepting the fact that they have a speed limit because they haven't had a speed limit for very long.
That's very true.
So I'm not saying they're bad driving, but sometimes you have moments where you go, was that a spaceship that just flew by me? Because they're so used to just doing things that they want to do.
I'm going to go with Ohio.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's any worse than anywhere else, but there are a lot of, in a very small space, there are a lot of big cities.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. We'll find out right now. For a more scientific answer, Consumer Affairs analyzed data from the Department of Transportation and National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. Then they ranked cities based on 4 factors. Oop, I might have to go back to Minnesota. DUI.
Oh.
Crash fatalities per 100,000 people, the number of fatalities due to bad driving, DUI, and speeding. Well, everywhere is like that now, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pretty much everywhere I've driven, anyway. Bad driving includes stuff like driving the wrong way in one-way traffic. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Failing to yield, that happens all the time. Aggressive, careless driving, making improper turns, and recklessly changing lanes and tailgating on busy roads. We're about to get to it. Here we go. In the end, the state with the worst drivers is, you were close, Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah.
I've never witnessed any. I've driven in Tennessee a lot, and I've never seen bad driving.
Really?
It's interesting. Tennessee, which has 4 cities. Yeah, see, 4 cities in the top 10.
Sure.
That's why I picked Ohio for the exact same reason. Including the worst city, Memphis is the worst place to drive. I've driven to Memphis, never had any problem with it. The other 3 were Knoxville, Clarksville, and Chattanooga. I love Chattanooga. Leave Chattanooga alone, right by the lake and the mountain there.
It's
wonderful.
a very fun word to say.
Chattanooga is, yes. The 10 worst cities with the worst drivers are, well, I'll go to the bottom and come back to the top because Memphis was the worst, apparently.
Okay.
Rockford, Illinois. Hesperia, California, pardon me. Victorville, California. Yeah, Detroit. There it is, Cleveland. I kind of figured Cleveland would be in there. St. Louis, Macon, Georgia. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Memphis, Tennessee. Does any of that surprise you?
No, because the logistics are, you first have to have cops that are actively looking to, like, pursue those things. And when you start thinking about that city aspect, I go, of course Montana or bigger, cities that are states that are less kind of like micromanaging, they're not going to be on the list.
Why isn't Tevin here today? It would have been a perfect time. Detroit, Cleveland, St. Louis, Macon, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Memphis. Well, they've got a lot of people of color there. That's why they're driving so bad.
Oh, God.
See, why isn't Tevin here so I could insult him?
See, we should have him here 7 days a week.
Why do you think it is? Well, maybe they explain why it is. Despite having 2 small cities in the top 10, California had the best drivers overall, along with Texas. The 10 cities with the safest drivers are Henderson, Nevada, College Station, Texas, Pearland, Texas, Glendale, California, Lynn, Massachusetts, McKinney, Texas, Bellevue, Washington, Oxnard, California, and Cary, North Carolina. But the safest city in America in which to drive, I think, is going to surprise you.
Tell me.
Although it's small, so that might be one of the reasons. Green Bay, Wisconsin.
I was gonna say Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Wow.
So you find them to be pretty safe drivers?
Well, here's the thing. I was driving to Green Bay for a show one night, and my Waze was like, you are 6 minutes from your destination, which was in downtown Green Bay. And I'm like, I am in the middle of a cornfield right now.
Yeah.
Where is Green Bay, Wisconsin, for God's sakes?
Isn't Green Bay the one that does that crazy, this street is now, you can go this way on it, and now you can go this way on it? Like, it has different, like, not lanes, but, like, completely, like, highways that they open up for different oncoming.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say it's that and Omaha really do that well, where they say traffic's really bad going east, so now this whole, like, I want to say lane.
Well, no, they do that here in Minneapolis on 394.
Like, open up.
Yeah, so the middle lane, so if it's the early morning, it's going into the city, and then in the afternoon, they turn it around, and then it's coming out of the city, that middle lane goes both ways. So, yeah, we do have that here in Minneapolis.
But that's only if you pay to get on it.
That is only.
This one's not the pay thing. Like, they literally have and I think that's Green Bay that does that. And I know it's Omaha as well that have those, like, whole, like, giant chunks that are not paid. They're just switch. And so, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A brilliant show, I thought.
I thought so.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable.
Put it on my resume.
We'll talk to you tomorrow.